Roots. See me, give me what you want with your definitions. Roots break through your inquisitions. See me, give me what you want with your definitions. Roots break through your inquisition. See me, give me what you want. See me, give me what you want. Roots break through your inquisitions. Moorish I am to the last breath of me. I'm never worried cause my prince hold the legacy. Full life status I'll forever be. Paint a perfect picture, frame the MSTA. For the works uplifting humanity I pray and you say sin. Save from the blasphemy. Man dying on the cross, you brave be asking me. Sign on the dotted line to upkeep your fallacy. We coming with the eyes wide open. Listen to the message Drew Ali told them. The vanguard coming through the fold'em. Stand strong army, assume your positions. We're coming for the kill, my lord inquisitions. Cause it's boom bye bye in the tip wide head. I said it's no remorse cause them plan after dead. Straight shots blasting, active not passive. Breaking bread with the loyal till blood shed on the soil. I'm asking, who's not ready for the war? Knocking at your front door. See me, give me what you want with your definitions. Roots break through your inquisitions. See me, give me what you want. See me, give me what you want. Building up a nation, no hesitation. Claiming our stance, moving out the plantations. My foot plant, northwest in the Mexum. Raw when I chant, revamp T-Rexum. Heart in the middle, chakra, balance. Hard more metal, iron on the map. Fall back, don't giggle. You might miss the point, red dot in the middle. Don't cry me a river. Drew Ali is the giver of salvation. Learn your books, don't quiver. Head sight up, knowledge, birthright bigger. Bigger than you thought, huh? Remember the ancestors who fought. Remember Haiti revolt. Remember the ones still caught in the Willie Lynch syndrome. Claiming our dome from our home is the temple. Enlightenment, entitlement, Aquarian info. They think that I've been po. I'm food for their market. Reincarnation, the jewels never lost it. I mastered it, time for reveal. Circle 7 seal. Simply give me what you want with your definitions. Roots break through your inquisitions. See me, give me what you want with your definitions. Roots break through your inquisitions. Yo, who this? I tried to tell me rights get left back. This them I tried this, I tell me feet accept that. Who give the long talk? Who own the land? Yo, who take the chrome and put it in the hands of these weak mind men? Measurement to mass awareness. Take a Euro man faces God. They go to frame it, they play with the amen. Lock up and set back. These blocks are a racetrack. Who trying to take back rights? Sounds for the mic and the spotlight. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice be the insight. I'm trying to take flight for the vultures trying to get me. Wanna sail out tonight if you bout it, ride with me. Deserve to see the world so I'ma take it. Chances for divine transformation, I pay it. Forward for the ones who didn't make it. I'm coming for the taking, the taking, taking. See me, give me what you want with your definitions. Roots break through your inquisitions. See me, give me what you want with your definitions. Roots break through your inquisitions. See me, give me what you want with your definitions. Roots break through your inquisitions. See me, give me what you want. Break it through. 1, 2.
Somebody at Bradley Bill, man. Tell him shut the fuck up. Talking about Mo's and motherfucking St. Louis turn. Nigga, let me school your bitch ass Bradley Bill. You dig what I'm saying? You play for the Wizards and you think you know DC, nigga. Mo don't come from motherfuckers, not a word, nigga. It's a terminology from dudes that was in law and that was more sciences, man. They used to greet each other like Islam, Mo. You know what I'm saying? Then they went into the streets once dudes was getting released. So there was a lot of Moors out there at that time, for real, coming out of that Lawton prison system. So that's how they would greet each other and speak to each other as in Islam, Mo. far as Moors, you get what I'm saying? It ain't a terminology for a word. It ain't a slang, no none of that. It's just history of DC, you get what I'm saying? Everything is, even Joe, down to Slim, down to Champ, down to Bama. Ain't that just made up for makeup, you get what I'm saying? This the DMV, nigga, drug money and violence, nigga. Design, music, and vision, nigga. What the fuck you thought it is, nigga? We got our own music for real, nigga. We got go-go, nigga. We got motherfucking our own clothing lines, nigga. When niggas started making shooters and start making all these other clothing lines and shit, that shit came from DDTP. That shit came from motherfucking Rugged Wear. It came from Madness. It came from Sabi. And it came from Hobo. So any of that other shit, man, cut it out. DC got his own motherfucking genre of music, our own slang. This shit like its own world, Hums. So when Bradley Bill talking all that stupid shit, like, come on now, Joe. You sound fucking stupid, nigga. Take that fucking post down, you fucking lame. Lame ass nigga talking about some fucking, that's a St. Louis word. Nigga, you don't even know what the fuck you talking about. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Somebody at Bradley Bill tell him to take that motherfucking dumbass tweet down, nigga. We don't need the motherfucking copy off nobody, you fucking lame ass nigga. Get a ring, bitch, nigga.
Did you see my text I sent about the trust? Okay, good deal. Yeah.
Because we were just talking about the same thing, so.
Because I think that's the next step now, like, or at least for where I am with understanding the
It's gotta be
information.
done. It's gotta be done regardless,
Right.
right?
But you need to know what you're doing. So I'm now ready to understand it. Because before, when I used to hear about it, it didn't make sense to me, right? But now, I guess you could say I'm kind of past the basics, and I'm ready. Because like I'm going to school in February
Okay.
to take appliance repair technician.
Oh, so you do that? Okay, good.
And then when I'm done that course, I'm able to create my own business and or work for a company. But when I create my own business, I don't want to do it under, I want to do it properly within the trust and stuff like that. So that's why I want to get the knowledge on that.
Well, just be aware though that still working within the system here, you may hem yourself in to the fact that other businesses out there, corporate businesses, will not want to do business with you or actually not be able to do business with you
Because of my status.
because of, and especially how if you set up your business in that way, right? Because remember, everyone's working from the perspective of them being subcontractors to the contractor or the corporate guy. So you may need to have an arm that
in there.
there.
My
And
question
so-
then would be: Is it a contradiction for me to say, okay, corporate status?
Nope.
I'll work with them.
No,
and
we'll
then
talk about that. We'll talk about that when you just went to New York.
it's a contradiction. You can't.
It's not the contradiction. What it is also within your situation.
Right.
You're being forced through racketeering to have to do that.
Right.
So that's where your issue is. You don't want to do that, but you sort of have to do that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it wouldn't be a contradiction. It would be the fact that you're just having to do that because of the situation. Because really what's going to happen, you're going to set yourself up as an Aboriginal Indigenous who, I'm not going to be taxed, whatever, and then
Right.
anyone who's out there who's corporate is not going to do business with you because of that, which may affect you. So not to say that, and the problem is that we're not strong enough as a community yet
To start.
for you to be self-sufficient on us.
Right.
You
I
can be
get
behind the scenes just coming and getting a little cash, and that's cool, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, don't hem yourself in right now
Right.
for that. Definitely keep that corporate part on
Yeah.
through the straw, possibly,
With
reserving your rights
reservation.
and all that kind of shit, and putting it on record and whatever.
Yeah.
Because
Listen.
I respect exactly what you're saying, but we're not there yet. And all you're
And
really...
then
Fair enough.
outside, like, because a lot of our influence is gonna come from outside of
Yep.
here. You know what I mean? So we're the initial guinea camels.
Right.
With everything that we're doing.
The
You know what I'm
testers.
saying?
Yeah.
Like we're the testers for everything. Like we're the ones that's gonna have to go through the fire
Fire
to see
for- right.
what's good. You know what I mean?
It's true.
You know?
Because if you look at a lot of quote unquote Asians or Africans, whatever,
Right.
they have their national name still.
Still, yeah.
Yeah.
But they know how to live within
But
contracts.
they use the English name to get their stuff done.
Right.
Because when you see you see a Steve,
right?
But then you don't
Chan.
cheap.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well,
So
I
you
meant
can
to-
see
he's
playing the line. Yeah. He's playing the line.
I met this Euro, this Asiatic, she said her name is Shen.
Right.
You gotta know that when she's probably shown to the school, she's Susie.
Yeah.
True.
You see what I'm saying? So they already, those are the principles that they're on, but they've got a nation backing them. The problem is we don't have that yet because we're not together, so you're gonna leave yourself sort of out on an island.
Right.
And it's gonna affect you adversely.
It's not an island.
So you wanna start
Yeah,
out
let's start. Let's go. Five on the left, two on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace.
Freedom.
And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Noble Drew Ali.
Islam.
Yeah. No.
A warning from the prophet to be read
Alright,
in
what's
every
going on
meeting.
here with this? Sorry, can we sit here?
No, just move it. Sorry.
I didn't know whether you
Who's
were.
that out there?
That's, I think, the lady next door.
Next door? No, somebody actually goes in there.
Oh yeah.
Actually, no, it seems like someone's putting some fly. Oh no, you know what it is? She's trying to dig something out of it.
Yes, it's next door.
I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speeches while on their jobs, homes, or on the public streets. We advocate peace and not destruction. Stop trying out your cards with the Europeans, for it causes confusion. There has been much confusion caused by members trying out their cards. The cards are for your salvation. Failure of obeying my orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members that seek to hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or to violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet, and if they lose confidence in their prophet, give up your card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Temple, Islam. These are the instructions from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, Islam, these are the instructions from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is still the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the last few years. So just so everybody knows, January 6th, 2018, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. At Dennis Trimble Resource Center, Canaanland Moors, and MSTA Education Corporation is holding our 8th annual Juali Day and Moorish Culture Gala. And lectures with Brother Seton Rabbe, myself, and once we figure out what's going on with the internet situation, we're looking at a Skype with Taj Tariq Bey. Today, we wanted to talk about some of the dialogue that went down yesterday when we went to do our outreach. We went to do our little downtown outreach yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of stuff was going on as for, the downtown scene or whatever. But we bumped into some people. We'll talk about them in the end. But the first situation we had was an elder. An elder came up. She was probably 50-something, late 50s or something. And she was probably like about where Brother Lex is. She was just standing there, just
Preying.
praying hard, like hard. Then maybe like 2 minutes or something like that. She eventually comes up with her. She's like, so what do I tell you? Shalom? Like, shalom. Like why would you say that? You know who the black Jews are? Well, oh yeah, I know that. I'm not in the box and all that stuff. Like I know what's up.
Shit.
Right? It's elder. She's sitting there. She pulls out a Martin Luther King book. Some book on Martin Luther King she was reading. Well, I was reading this book and I really don't think that he was, how they put it, like he's, you know what I mean?
Getting it.
This religious guy and marching and all that stuff, because when you read stuff that he was talking about, spiritual things and whatever like that, and she was relating him to Jesus and whatever. While me and this lady are building, Brother Lanre is talking to a highwayman.
Oh.
Because we're at Young and Dundas, right? So, we got our Young Street, right? We got our Dundas, right? And then we have
Shooter Street or something?
We have Dundas Square, right? Which we know is the Times Square for out here or whatever, right? So there's these. It was crazy how they had the thing set up. They have 2 pots or whatever, right? They have like these big flower pots, right, going around the spot. There's these big flower pots going around the spot. And
those are, if you don't know, those are sort of anti people taking their trucks and trying to drive through, like underneath those pots are metal.
Right.
Those are barricades.
Okay, right. So at these 2 pots, you know what I mean? Like one more is over here, one more is over here, right? So I'm talking with the lady right here, and Landry is giving out papers or whatever. Highwayman comes up, What are you doing or whatever? Oh yeah, we're just giving out, you know what I mean, papers or whatever. Oh, can I see or whatever? Yeah, sure, no problem, you know. I was taking it, reading, okay, no problem, whatever. Larry said, no, it's alright, you can keep it. I was like, no, I can't keep it, I don't have my glasses.
He just read the.
I don't have my glasses, so I can't read. We're like, alright, whatever.
Wow.
So me and the lady continue building or whatever. We're talking about, you know, she's talking about Jesus and how, you know, Jesus is not a man, you know what I mean? It's a spiritual whatever, because his name was really Yahshua and all this stuff, right? She's going in. So then she still has the book. As soon as she finished just talking about, because we were talking about how our people receive messages, whatever, and that's what she brought in the book. That, oh, well, you know what I mean? There's a part in this book where Martin Luther's talking about ancient African history.
Word?
And he's talking about how in our culture, we use the drum to get the message to people. All of a sudden, dude across the street starts with the drum. Right? She's like getting the teary eyes or whatever like that. She's like, oh my God, I think I'm going to cry and all this, right? She starts tripping out. She starts tripping. Right? She just starts tripping. I can't believe it. Like she's going, she's frazzled right now, right? All this stuff going on at once. Like, yo, I'm seeing you and then when they're reading this and then the drum and then, right? So eventually she's like, you know what, like this, I'm going to go walk and shit. This is too much. I can't even deal with this shit right now. But you know, thanks. She took the paper or whatever, went on her walk. Then the security for the Dundas Square people come up. You guys give it, oh yeah, you know, we're, you know what I mean? Because they have Dundas Square, then they have this grid right here.
Yeah.
Right? They have this grid, and then they have the sidewalk. So when we see them coming, we move to the sidewalk. We say, oh yeah, we're not on the we're not on the Dundas Square property, like we know what's up or whatever, right? They're like, oh yeah, but there's a special bylaw for events. That when there's events in Dundas Square, Dundas Square extends to the sidewalk.
What special bylaw?
Right? Special bylaw that when there's events, right? So they enforce with tickets or whatever being on the sidewalk, which is part of Dundas Square events. But you know, if you want, you can go across the street over here. You can go anywhere.
But wasn't initially they were all right with us
Yeah,
being on the sidewalk?
First time they were good, right? And then that was the thing too that we were talking about with the later guys, that you had the big guy in the back not saying nothing.
Yeah.
Because remember when initially it was a different dude the first time.
You're talking about the dude that we tried to hand the pamphlet to and he said he couldn't take it?
He couldn't take it, yeah, right? Because he was on the thing and we're telling him, well, yo, just come out of the Dundas area so we can give you the thing or whatever, because he was Hindustani. He's like, nah, you know, I'm going to have to take off all my stuff and all that if I'm going to have to take the thing. Like, whatever, right? So that same one, I guess he went, found out whatever.
Or,
I mean,
you know,
somebody
what I'm thinking now that
questioned
you're
him.
talking about this, what I'm thinking is behind the scenes, because we're not aware of this, his man is probably watching.
In the booth, yeah.
No,
already seen what.
They've been watching all through it, and
yeah.
he's been sent out to be the minion to try and clear shit up, so he can't take anything.
Right.
At that point, when he goes back,
That's
when they send the next guy in with
the next level up, with the paper
and
showing,
lined off.
So they're going down to everybody who was in this area. Oh yeah, you know, whatever, you know, you can't do here, blah blah. Everybody's like, okay, cool, you know, everybody's there just handing out stuff. Different people there. So after they do that, so then we go across the street. Well, before we leave, Iranian man comes up, right? And he comes up hype, like he comes up like, Turkish Empire, Ottoman Empire, points at all the Turkish Empire. You guys know, you know that the Sumerian and all this stuff going into like, you know, history of Sumer and all this type of stuff, right? Oh yeah, you know, Iran, Iraq, blah blah, you know, ancient Sumer and all this art, culture, whatever. Leaves, then comes back. Oh my gosh, I can't believe there's so much kafirs here, and I can't believe that you know these people are really trying to take our stuff. And he starts going into the story about when he was young, there were all these date trees in Iran.
Iraq.
It was Iraq that he said?
Iraq.
It was Iraq, right? All these date trees.
And what's a date tree?
like the actual fruit date,
Oh, okay.
right?
You know, the dry dates and the fresh
dates that
dates?
they have, yeah, you know what I mean? So they had all these trees or whatever, and then when they got older, they started to get dates from England,
Saying
saying
product,
made in England, or
product of Britain or
product
whatever.
of Britain, product of England, whatever, right?
He had a red mark.
There, they have this product of England thing, dates. They're eating the dates, and it tastes like the dates they used to eat when they were a child in Iraq, right? And he's talking about the whole coming in and taking people's stuff and then claiming that it's theirs or whatever like that. So he leaves off. Now the same time when we were there, we went to the other side, to the Eaton Center side. There were some other brothers that were giving out.
Well, just to fill in too, those were some of the same guys. While we were there giving off our stuff, there were another set of what I would say our fellow brothers who were handing out these same pamphlets that Kudo's talking about as well, which he will talk about. But when they pulled us off the sidewalk and told us that we all had to go over to the other side, these were our fellow brothers who were there handing out this stuff. So they were sort of the right hand to our left hand. So Kudo will talk to that.
So what they were giving out was, come join us. Free coffee and desserts with engaging one-on-one conversations. The nationwide campaign consists of meetups and at cafes and mosques across the country for one-on-one sessions where you'll get the opportunity to sit down with a Muslim and ask your questions about the faith. Coffee and Islam. Join the conversation across the nation. 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. every evening. Call or go online to set up a sitting near you. IslamUnderstood.com. And I didn't even get that far when I was reading. I was just, oh, coffee and Islam, good, you know, interesting concept, whatever like that, you know what I mean, to the flyer.
But I think we also found that it was very sort of prophetic
Right,
that these same youths were there with us doing that.
right. So while we're on the other side now, one of them comes up to us. Hey, those hats or whatever. What Islam are you guys? Right, and when we were coming up here, me and Brother Omar were talking about how it always goes to there first. Right? So it always goes to the aspect of what's your religion, because they know that the fez relates to
Something, yeah.
Islamic, but you know what? From what he was saying, the energy wasn't conventional Islam. You know what I mean? So we got to think that, you know, yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Just to interrupt, the thing that I think we've noticed too is that every one of the contacts we have with people that are identifying with the fez always acknowledge that fez has some higher level to it, has some thing that has to do with their higher level shit.
Yeah,
Whatever it is.
on their side.
On their side, it always has to do with their imams, their leaders, their high people.
Right.
So it's always from that perspective that they see these pheasants.
Right. So we're going into to as usual. Once they go there, we automatically go with, oh, we're Sufi. And then that changes up the whole vibration, because now they start talking about, dervish and,
Yeah, he asked if you were
yeah,
Dervish.
we're dervish and some matter. It's not those Sufis, right? I mean, that's still baseline Sufism. Like, we're not dervish and all that, right? Even though the science is, being able to open portals and stuff like that, that's why they do the spinning, whatever. But
That's it.
that's a whole different thing. So, so what they came up and said that while we were talking about our connection to Sufism, they brought up that they're part of Ahmadiyya movement. Now, if we go back to number of years ago, when they started up this whole campaign against Noble Drew Ali, they would always use Ahmadiyya movement because they were one of those branches of Islam in America that were teaching mystic Islam in the 1920s, right? So the Black Power people who were always going against the Moors or whatever would use them as to say, oh, Noble Drew Ali got his stuff from these pale guys and they got straight hair and thin noses, they're not Asiatics or whatever, or they're not black people, right? But these individuals recognize, like what Omar was saying, that there's something different with our connection to Islam, that they recognize and connect themselves to it in some way, shape, or form, for them to even come up and start engaging us on a level of, yeah, let's exchange numbers and let's meet up and talk and build or whatever, because, you know, so we start going into, well, what, you know, how are you, because, you know, like, okay, you say you're Sufi, but like, okay, well, we're Moors. What do you mean, like Moors in Spain and all that stuff? Like, you mean the Moorish people? Or like, yeah, those ones. But over here, you know what I mean? Maghreb Al-Aqsa. Oh yeah, because Maghreb is the east, yeah, and Maghreb Al-Aqsa is the west. And he's like, yeah, okay, so, you know what I mean? Building this intellectual rapport with them, you know what I mean? Then the Noble Drew Ali came up, and I couldn't remember their leader at the time. This man named Hamza Gershi or something like that, right? All they have, as far as the Ahmadiyya movement and the founding of their stuff, right? When you research this, all you're going to see is black and white pictures with fezzes, turbans, and all that. That's it. In their little stuff. So, and the people who were exercising under this didn't look like dark-skinned people, but they were over here and they had this quote-unquote branch of Islam that was not the conventional stuff, because they were dealing with more of the mystic whatever. But over time, even that got dumbed down to be something where it is now, that it's not even really as mystic as it was. But because of these black and white pictures that we know that these guys have at their house and all that stuff, they already know what fezzes are. Their leader guys wore fezzes in the 1920s, right? So when we were going through the paper, he was looking at, you know, he was like, oh, Prince like knew that he was, I'm like, what's the picture telling you? Well, that's the Islamic gesture, all right, so, yeah, but, you know, then we saw the Elijah Muhammad picture. And he's like, so what, Elijah Muhammad used to wear a fez and all that? He was part of this stuff? I'm like, yeah, right? Not even no questioning, not, I don't know or nothing like that. Knew exactly where it was that we were going with regard to that. In the end, you know what I mean, ended up taking the picture, and then them coming in the picture. And then they had, we were talking about the unity of the quote-unquote religions. That, why is it that they don't want to unify? Because everybody's straying against the principles. And then we let our principles, you know what I mean, inside there, and like, okay, well, truth will be one, and then, you know, peace will be another one, and then went through all the ones that are our stuff, that's universal. Right? So on a universal level, they were like, yeah, we need to meet up, build, whatever like that, because, you know, if you're telling us that we're Moors because we're dark-skinned, then we're missing something. You know what I mean? With all the stuff that we have, we're still missing stuff. Because one of the things that they were, you know what I mean, trying to connect to was, well, what, like, how are you Moors? Like, what do you mean you're Moors? Like, this is this time. How are you Moors? And then, well, you know, Moor is any dark-skinned person. Right? So if any dark-skinned person is a Moor, then what are you? Dark-skinned. So what does that mean? Well, we're Moors. We're like, and that's what we're trying to get our people to come to the realization to. I mean, we want our people to get to that spot where they realize that they're Moors, that they're not Negro, black, colored, and all that, right? Excuse me, how are you doing, right? Now, the other thing we want to bring up, Brother Omar had a good one last night, with engaging another corporate arm, if you will. You know, dealing with a whole different jurisdiction as far as being on the highways and byways. So, to cut fast, we come to the realization that when they speak about stealing, they stole the Indians' land, and they stole, you know, they stole Regional Park and made whatever with it, and they stole all these other places, and you know, and they're doing this gentrification program. That this is something that's spread across the board into all different avenues, right? Because you know we were talking about the whole idea with the taxi and the Uber, right? And that now Uber is now regulated like taxi people. But when if anybody been in a taxi, had a conversation with one of them, majority of them are doctors and whatever, engineers and all this stuff and stuff. They came here, can't get work, or they had some type of degree wherever they were. They came here and then they can't use their degree. So now they're stuck having to, you know what I mean? Yeah, Mark.
I got a quick one for you. So the guy downstairs in the store downstairs, who works at the convenience store, we're talking about stuff and breaking down stuff because some ladies walked in and they were acting in a certain way. Anyways, he said that he was a chartered accountant back in his country. Chartered accountant back in his country, and he said that in his country they're spreading propaganda about the promised land, come to Canada, do all this stuff. So he packed his bags up, came here, and then they did the end around of exactly what you're saying that any of the work that he's done, any of the accreditation he has, is absolutely useless here, and he's now working in a convenience store.
Yeah.
And that's what he's got.
Yeah.
So this thing is crazy wide and worldwide, and they're sucking people over here under the guise of some promised land.
Yeah.
But then when you get here with your doctorate and your whatever, it absolutely has no bearing and no merit. Thus, you're going to end up in a cab, or serving some guy, being the cash register guy.
Even when you check, as you said that too, one day, last week or something, went to Scarborough Town Center. I got to the subway part, and there's like 5 people sitting there with signs or whatever, talking about you need money for whatever, something like that. But they have that, you know, look like the people who they brought over here when they're telling them, oh yeah, come over here, escape some crisis. They don't look like homeless people like that, because apparently all these people are supposed to have gotten their payout so they can have a little apartment or a house or a hotel room or something like that. Like everybody, they were coming off the plane getting jackets, right, from wherever they came from. So we know that it shouldn't be like that. You know, that these people who, you know, and then you look at the people who are really homeless people now, they can't even get nothing. People stealing their stuff. The same thing of get the so-called first people out, get all the first bums out, so all these immigrants from other countries could take their job. Get the taxi people out so that we can bring in Uber.
Well,
Get you know, get all the so-called independent, you know, you can't have set up your own phone, whatever, because you're gonna have to use their stuff to set up. You can't set up your own right? You're gonna always have to be going back to that institution or that establishment that's claiming they have the authority to, you know, make these things happen, right? You're gonna say something more?
I was just going to say that one of the things I saw in the news was that they were just saying about how in Mexico they were raising the minimum wage from $3.75 to $4.75. And I thought, wow, that's kind of crazy. Okay, they're getting some money. But then as I read it further along, they said per day.
What?
Yeah.
$3.75
Yeah.
has now been raised to $4.75 per day.
So that's a day's work.
Not
A
an
day's
hour.
work. They've raised it from $3.70. I was like, oh, okay, some stuff's going on here. And then as I read along, it said per day. So what's been going on is, this, and the same thing that you're talking about, this corporate nonsense, what's been going on is the corporations have been playing this game of trying to make as much money as they can by using slave labor all over the world, while trying to pretend this is the promised land, while going into stabilizing other governments and having people then race over here to come and work here under the guise that this is a promised land, when it's just another enslavement camp, and what they're really looking for is more fresh labor.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been doing. But you realize we think we have it sort of bad here. There are people out there making $4.75 a day.
Yeah. A day. Right. So last night, dealing with the whole corporate idea, brother needed a tow, so he contacted CAA. You know, you pay your little whatever, you know what I mean, and you're on a tow. These guys come get the stuff.
Well, and let's liken this to being like the CAA being like your insurance for your conveyance, right?
Right.
You pay your little thing, and if you need a tow or some gas or whatever, you pay for it in advance.
Right, and then they come out and they do their thing. So, to back up what where we're going, when we initially, or when I initially got CA, the message was that, you know, they're there to help and assist the driver if the driver is not able to whatever. You could I was using an example of, like, I know people who they were drunk, they called CA because they had a free tour or whatever. They were drunk, CA came, picked up the car, dropped it to the house or whatever like that. Just because, right? You know, you need a battery. Car dies, whatever, you need a battery, call CA. CA bring a battery, buy a battery off them. Right? You know, tire change, whatever. So it was actually something that was, you know, beneficial or whatever. So
And just so I can,
Yeah.
you know, what the guy had told me was that CA has been set up to be the institution that is supposed to regulate and make sure that everything's going down proper on the roads. So CA is the one that mandates all of the regulations around the towing stuff and all that kind of stuff. So that's what CA initially was supposed to be. Go on.
So back then, there was a benefit to have CA, because if you call a tow, these guys are gonna say 500 for a battery and crazy ones. Change a tire, crazy amount, tow 500 or whatever like that to go around the corner, right? So you would get CA just because, right? So, looking at the situation that happened, we were talking about it this morning, and you know, it went into all these other realms that we have experienced in different ways that lead us to come to the realization that there's more than definitely a corporate takeover, and it's now time for the people to be on their stuff, right? It's like we can't rely on it's these other people anymore that are doing something for our benefit, right? We have to be the ones to actually, you know, take a certain stand with regard to where it is that we are and how things are supposed to be running in you know, civilized society or whatever. So, if you want to just touch on your, just, you know, because I'm sure you had more time to think about it. So
So quickly, initially in the day, I had to get my vehicle up to a spot. It was quite far away, but I had problems with my brakes seizing, and I was realizing that it may cause a problem. So I had the CAA thing paid for it, rarely use it. Called up earlier in the day, they said just call when you're ready to go. At the gym, 10:15, I give them a call. I said, okay, I'm ready to go, because they said it might take an hour, hour and a half. So when I call at 10:15, I figured to do it at night when things should hopefully cool down. So 10:15 I call, they say, okay, man will be there at 11. So I race up, get myself ready, start racing down. I get an automated call 20 minutes later, saying, oh, no, sorry, we'll be there in 40 minutes. So I took this to meaning that, so now it's 10:15, this now goes to 10:40. So now rather than them being there at 11, they're going to be there at 11:20. So I race home, I get home by about 10:45, and I see a CAA truck just a block away from me. I see the man jumping out and fixing the thing. I figure, okay, this is the man, right? So then, as I'm walking in, I get another call, but then he takes a left. When the light turns, he drives away from me, not towards me. And in my mind, I thought to myself, this must be my guy. So check out how this all plays out. So then, I get another call at 11 now. They're supposed to be there in 10 minutes. I get a call at 11 saying, oh no, sorry, another automated call. We'll be there in half an hour. So this is now 11 o'clock. So I get on the horn with them, and they say, oh, well, you know what it is? It's that, because I needed it to be dollied. Dollying means they put it up so the whole car is off the ground.
Yeah.
And so they say, oh, well, there's no other tow trucks that have dollies on them, except this one tow truck. We've got a lot of flatbeds, but we don't have a dolly. So then I hang up, I say, okay, I take that at face value, then I hang up and say, wait, why don't I just put it on a flatbed, right? Why would I wait for the dolly? So I call back, they're like, oh, well, you know, we don't want to damage your car, because if you put it on a flatbed, dragging it up there might damage the car. So obviously I'm probably still sleep deprived, right? So I take that as an okay. Man shows up at 11:35 now. So this is now 40 minutes past, and he starts into this, so I bring the vehicle up, and he starts going, oh, well, you know, it's late at night. I'm sure you don't want to have to drive up there with me to do this, so why don't you just tell me where it is and whatever. And I'm sure on a certain occasion that might work, but for me, I needed to be there with the car. I said, no, sorry, actually, I just need to be there, I'm sorry. And so then I said, okay, well, here, I brought the car out. I said, here, can you put it up on the, he goes, I'll start putting it up on the blocks, you go get your other car that you're going to follow me in. So I run down to go get the vehicle that I'm going to follow him up with, and as I come up, nothing still happened with the car. This is like 10, 15 minutes later, so now we're talking about 12 o'clock. So then he starts going into about how he had been on, and this is why I realized he sort of sold himself out. He told me he'd been on a previous call where they sat around for 4 hours, and that what happens is while you're sitting around waiting, the company's getting $100 an hour, and the driver's getting $20 an hour. Wow. Right? Just sitting around waiting. So now I realize, but so I'm saying to him, so I said, well, what is it? Is it a time thing, or is it a kilometer thing? Hugo subsequently tells me that it's both. It's like a taxi. So he says it's a kilometer thing. I said, well, listen, brother. I said, you know, I hear you. I said, but I don't have all night. Because he's like, well, if you want to go to Mississauga and go, telling me that if we want to drive around town all night, he's good with that because he's going to make some money. Now, it might have been 6 o'clock and I might have been doing something else and I didn't wanted to. But I said, no. I said, you know, I said, we can take this. And I said, well, the quickest route is up the DVP. This is now 11 o'clock on a Saturday last night. He says, well, the DVP
So
is...
with him, where to go?
Right. The DVP, he says, is rammed at 11 p.m. on Saturday. Now, I'm not one of these Google guys who should have gone on and seen that it was probably green all the way up, right? But I take his word for it. So I say, we got to go to Keelan Finch. I say, okay, well, let's take the 427 route, which is, because I'm at Young and Front, which means go all the way across to the 427, which is way further than Keelan, double back. Subsequently, I find out it's an extra 10 kilometers. So I'm thinking, I'm doing my little bit that I can to help him make some extra money. So it's gonna be extra time. But as we're loading this thing up, the man's like slowly doing this and talking and talking and talking, and I'm sitting by, he's like, well, you can go sit in the car if you want. I said, no, I said, I'd like to shoot the shit with you. It takes him half an hour to 40 minutes to get my car up onto this thing. And I'm thinking, okay, well, whatever, I'll take it. You know, I said I was sort of being very patient. So I said, okay, well, let's start going. So we start going, and we get on the highway, and he's now on the highway, traveling at 80 kilometers an hour. And like I'm actually causing people to have serious problems because we're like doing 75, 80 on 100 to 120 highway at night. And he's doing this weird thing where he's switching lanes and whatever, and I'm trying to stay with him and all this stuff. So it takes us so remember now I've made the call at 10:15. We get up to Keel and Finch at 1:20 at this point. So at this point it's been 3 hours to get my car up there. And as we get there, now we know that if you guys knew, if anyone was out last night, the temperature really dropped. Yep. So it's super windy, and man is taking my car up the thing, but I'm figuring at this point that he's gonna sort of try to expedite stuff. But he's still shooting the shit and being real slow and talking and whatever. And so by the end of it, we get my car down off the block at 1:45 in the morning. And I said to him, so what's up? Are you planning to go home now? Or I said, are you keeping on work? He said, no, I'm going home. So I drive my car to the thing, do all my stuff, and I drive away. And then as I drive away, I get about 8 blocks down, but I can still see him in the rear view, right? And then I sit there for about just 10 minutes, or 5-10 minutes, just observing him, realizing he's just sitting there. Yeah. He's not going anywhere. And then I race off and get home in 10 minutes, right? The whole trip took 3.5 hours. I'm home in 10 minutes.
Wow.
And so then I get home, and my girl, who I'd said, I'll be back in an hour, is like, what the heck happened to you? So I break it all down, and so you better call and complain. So I pick up the phone to call them, and they're like, oh, you don't have an order with us. Like, what do you mean I don't have an order with you? They're like, oh, well, we canceled that order. I said, what do you mean you canceled that order? He's like, oh, well, what we did is we credited you back that order. I said, you credited me back the order? Why? He's like, oh, well, because, he's like, oh, we just wanted to give you, credit you back the order. I said, well, so I said to him, well, wait, what about the man? Does he get paid? Because I'm still concerned, maybe, yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, they get paid. We're giving you back your toe. So rather than having 2 toes taken, I only had 1 toe taken, so as if that was supposed to buy me off. But my whole evening was ruined on this game with them that they were playing to try and maximize the hours and how much fiat that they could extract from me. But under the guise that somehow this was the protocol. But when Cujo tells me, we all know, you can get a car up on a lift in probably 10 minutes. And it's not taking no 3 hours to get your vehicle to where it needs to go. But behind the scenes, so I called the man to complain. He's like, oh yeah, we hear lots of these stories, and you know, the best we can do is give you back your 1 free toe, but if you want anything else, then you need to call on Monday to deal with
the official
guy. But what Cujo and I are realizing is that, because the man was also telling me that basically the reason why all of this has been mandated is because these tow truck drivers have been running roughshod over everyone anyways. Whenever you're on the, you know, if you get pulled over and you're on the highway, what happens is the cops pull in behind you. The cops pull in behind you and tell you, for safety's sake, they need to clear your car off the road. So then they call one of their companies that they have contracted with. It costs you all $700-800. So what Cujo and I were building on was the fact that the very organization that's supposed to help us get where we're going has absolutely been infiltrated and co-opted, and that they're fully raping people on the streets. Whether you think it's CAA or a private guy, you're lucky that if it's CAA sort of thing, because at least there's some kind of mandate. But what's happened is they've figured out ways around basically abusing the system. But yeah, it was quite, and I ended up being to bed at about 3:30. Cujo and I talked this morning. He's like, oh, you sounded like you just got up. But the issue was, yeah, I had just gotten up because I'd spent all night trying to get my vehicle to this spot with CAA. who's absolutely corrupt. Absolutely corrupt.
And then we likened it to even them taking the telemarketing jobs, doing this sub whatever of all the work, right? And then you're getting on top of dealing with people who, you know, are going to be, you know, in the negative as far as providing customer service or whatever, right? You're also dealing with people who are incompetent more than people who have some type of, you know what I mean, professionalism in whatever skill they profess. Like we were saying, like you get a toll back in the day, you're riding with them. They're giving you tips how to fix stuff. If anything happens, or if you lock yourself in your car, just stick the thing in this, do like this 2 times, and then you open up whatever. Anything, any car, they'll give you some tricks of the trade or whatever. Now you have this mentality of this thing of, you know, it's all about the money,
Right.
to prove the skill. You know, when they say this guy's riding the bench and he's getting $50 million a year or whatever. He's just riding bench, getting 50 million.
Remember Alex Stewart?
Yeah, and then somebody who's out there, they're getting 2, getting way below their whatever that they're supposed to get. Even though they already made their stuff or whatever, but still, you know what I mean? You know, the thing with the artists, that, you know, they're so out of it that they're gonna sign a deal so that the record company can get a little bit of everything that they get. Like, they're willingly signing that deal just so that they can say, I have a deal now. I made it because I got a deal.
Well, you know, like on any artist where you're selling any CD for $15, the artist is getting $1 of that, right?
Dollar.
So when one of those guys sells 5 million records, he's getting 5 million. Someone else is getting 50 million, right?
Right.
And then we were tying that in, and this is where Cujo made a beautiful point about the gentrification. Because we were tying in the prospect of, for example, I live near Regent Park. Well, they've gentrified Regent Park. When you go to Regent Park now, they got condos there. And what they've done is they've taken all those people and displaced them to other areas. And what I realized was that they take those people and they displace them to other areas, and we were likening it to the Crips and the Bloods. So say some of them are still there, but a lot of them have been cleared out by different methods, right?
Sure.
So they take the Bloods from the one area and they put them in with the Crips in another area. And then what happens is basically what Cujo was saying, you've now created a turf war, right, in that other area. And they gentrified the other area that used to be the slums, which is now big money spot. And so with that gentrification now you've got a war going on somewhere else, and of course who do they bring in? But the police, who then now are the next set of thugs, who then come in to take over the neighborhood again. Right? So it's this continual process.
This continual thing
of
that
eroding any of the du jour, the natural areas.
Yeah.
And it's across the board with everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And as I said, and that's why Cujo wanted to talk about it, but I had my experience with CAA. They're going to take me 4 hours for my free tow so that they can work their stuff out, and then when I come back at them, they're going to throw me back the free tows.
5 free tows.
Because Cujo told me that back in the day they used to get 6 free tows. Now
it wasn't 4. I know that.
So,
I called way more times than that and got free tows.
And my 4 free tows come with a premium rate.
Yeah.
As well. That's not the base rate. The base rate you get 2 free tows. So what we've realized is that across the board, and that the minions, the ones underneath, are all part of the game. Because that's how they have to make their money.
Yeah.
Their money can only come from me driving around for the 200 kilometers because he's getting 8 kilometers
By
in
kilometers,
time.
not.
And time. Rather than but say, hey, let's get the man up there and keep moving.
Oh yeah, the other thing we were talking about was that CAA back then had their own toll people that worked for them.
Right.
They weren't sub-leasing trucks and whatever like that. Sticker on it says CAA, but the guy is some punk or whatever that never put up a car ever in his life. You know what I mean? But he knows how to sit behind the wheel, so we'll give him the contract, right? And then, you know, the people who were actually in that position as this is what I do, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I do. We pick cars up, right? They can't even get nothing now because they got kicked out You know what I mean? Whatever union BS that they would, they would skirt it so that it doesn't allow them to be under some violation, and then it doesn't allow the union to actually do what they're supposed to do to assist these.
And as you can imagine, right, with the 3 hours I spent with this time, there was enough gems being dropped. Because what he was telling me now, and this now comes to me now, he was telling me about how the cops have contracts too, obviously, right? That's why when you get pulled over on the highway, they're trying to get you on a tow as quickly as possible because they've contracted it out. And what he said was that, because we were right near another tow yard, what he was explaining to me was that the man who owned that tow yard had contracted with the police. So of course there was benefit for them to continually have men being pulled over and contracted out because everyone was getting paid. And what happened was CAA had to step in and had him have to, they basically forced him to give up that arm of the business because he was at a conflict of interest. But still, what you realize, it was still one of their boys behind the scenes. So
it's always one of their boys.
And this is what came to me. What they've done is, and I think I mentioned this to Cujo at a time. It's like it's either you're getting the SHIT or the diarrhea. But either way, it's like, oh, you want the diarrhea, go to CAA. Or no, if you want the SHIT, you go to CAA. If you want the diarrhea, then you go to the private companies. But either way, you ain't getting anything.
Right. It's not going to be in your
interest at all.
Brother Murray.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that thing right now?
Okay. In regards to what they're talking about, and in regards to your name and your appellation, a lot of Moors, like Brother Lex was asking today in regards to that, will it be a contradiction to have your appellation, which is your Aboriginal name, and your straw name mixed together? Like say you want to make some money or whatever, you have your appellation, but you have the straw name as well. Situation happened to me this weekend, whereas I had the corporate passport and my nationality card, and I presented both of them together. And it went through, whatever I needed to do. I was basically cashing some checks, and some of the checks had my Aboriginal name, some of them had the corporate name on it, and the sister was blown away. She nothing she could really stop me from doing, but she was like, this is really interesting, because she's never seen it before. Because I said to her, I said, well, this is my Aboriginal name and this is the corporate name. She says,
oh no, before you say that, now keep in mind also, right, news alert, right, the government of Jamaica is currently amending legislations to pass the NIDS bill. All citizens will be forced by law to submit personal general biometric info, which includes retina scan, fingerprints, toe prints, blood type, vein type, religion. All info will be stored in a database controlled by quote unquote the Jamaican government. And then we're just bringing that up because we're talking about ID and them doing this ID whatever. And where he was Jamaica, Queens, right? So Jamaica, the whatever they say is a country or whatever like that, they're trying to implement some stuff. Then this other thing over on this side called Jamaica, right, is, well, when you tell the story.
So, me personally as well, as I said, like, I was awestruck myself because, again, I'm always getting into these situations where it just happens. So and then I had another check and it said the Moor Science Temple on it, and it didn't have anything else. Didn't have my name or any other, both corporate or Aboriginal on it. So she says to me, "Well, do you have the corporate papers for this?" I said, "Well, it's a religious theocratic organization, so we don't have paperwork for that." Which we do, but we don't have it. She says, okay, so she types it up on the computer, and she just steps back. She's like, you have a temp? I said, yeah. Where is it? I said, in Canada. She's like, is there any connection over here? So she's waiting for me to speak, but she's looking at the computer because it came up on the computer. I said, it's in Chicago. So she's looking at me, she's like, okay, but you're in Canada. I said, yeah, we're subordinate temple to them. And I was also mailing some documents to Cali, to Arizona and Alabama. And she's looking at everything. She's like, wait a second. So the head temple is in Chicago, you're in Canada, but you're mailing stuff over here to go to here. She's like, is it that big? In regards to the Moor Science Temple. Like obviously she knew about it or heard about it, but did not know the reach of it. She did not know the extent of how everything was going on. So, all in all, we talked. She did all the checks, whatever. And again, another thing, I had a family member, I had my sister there with me, and she's just standing there looking at me, looking at the lady, looking at like both of us going back and forth. I'm speaking as a national, even though I had a corporate instrument, the passport, there with me. I'm Aboriginal. So she puts everything through, and she asks me, what's the tax exempt number? She's looking at me, looking at the screen, looking at me, and I spelled it out, 222-141. She's like, okay, puts it through.
What was it, like a cash place or what?
Well, it's the post office.
So
Post
you're
office.
sending
Send
out
out documentation.
So no postage paid.
On the side, they have all the documentations that they need. And on there it says national ID card, passport, driver's license, bill, right? It's a national ID card. And that's what I gave her. Because she wanted two IDs, one passport, credit card, whatever. I said, I only have the passport, and I have this as well.
National ID.
And she looks at it, and she just smiles, and she says, I need to get more information. She took down my number from what I gave her, because I couldn't tell her directly, but she took down a number. I said, look it up online, took down a name, and I went from there. So to Lex's point, to everybody's point, and the question is it a conflict of interest? No, it's not. This is your national name, this is your corporate name. You have to mix it because that's how you have to live.
And that's a part of your proof that you've been saved.
That is a part of
Exactly.
the proof.
Yeah, that's the proof, and especially when you bring it to them on that level. That you know, like what Norman told somebody. I don't look like a Smith to you, do I? Do I look European?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, nah, not really.
Islam.
So
not really.
yeah, don't ever be afraid of, again, a lot of us have to understand that, okay, if we're in slavery, you have to free yourself.
Right.
However you free yourself, you're still, what you freed yourself from is still attached to you. Gotta be used. That's the system that you're attached to still. No matter how much you wanna hate it, you're still attached to that system. But understand and understand how to move it. Because you can move in both worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Islam. You need to do some classes on it.
Yeah, definitely. Get back here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just understand what you're doing, understand who you are, and trust me, I'm telling you, like, this is the post office. They have all the information of everybody.
True.
If anybody's got it.
You know what I'm saying? And when she's looking at me, looking at the screen, obviously all the information is up there. She's just typing it down and just looking to see if I knew what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
I recall it to you, you know that back in the days, it was post office you could register baby.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Register babies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Post office.
You're right, yes.
Yeah. That sounds so strange.
Because the post office was the governmental post.
Oh,
Whatever.
okay.
It wasn't what it is now.
Yeah, I see.
That those guys control it. Like it was its own entity.
True.
You know what I mean? Because that's where the whole thing comes out with you know, putting the stamps on the paperwork and all that stuff. Because stamps are money.
Exactly. Yep.
Or it
That's
used to
your
be,
fingerprint.
you know, like the stamp used to be money.
And that's your fingerprint.
Right.
That's your stamp. Yes.
Yeah. So before Brother Amari started talking, we were talking about this national ID bill that is passed. You know, so they're going with it, right? We just uploaded a sister that has a web show or whatever like that, and they're talking about it. You know what I mean? And they're not talking about it like there's some goody oddies and they're gonna get the ID card and all that stuff. Right? So failure to get a national ID number will affect the following: 1. Registration of births, deaths, marriages, etc. 2. Passports, driving privileges, voting rights, access to commercial, academic, industrial, socio-economic services. 3. After 3 years of not having an NIDS, you will be fined 100,000 Jamaican or be sentenced to community service. The cost of the NIDS is 68 US.
Oh, dollars, $68.
Yeah, $68.
Okay.
So that's, I think that's $8,000 or something.
Grand.
Yeah, right. Oh no, sorry. The cost of the NIDS is 68 million.
That's what I was just about to ask.
Yeah, which the government of Jamaica is borrowing to be paid over many years to come.
More debt.
Reason for the NIDS, and don't forget they're already under debt to the IMF already.
Yep.
Right? They're already under that. They've been under that debt, and now they're under another debt now.
So it's basically just tagging their property now, right?
Tagging their property. 1. Remember Vision 2030. Well, in keeping with the vision, Substantial Development Goal SDG 16 is to promote peaceful, inclusive services, justice to all. I am sure by now you know who would want such inclusion. Concerns. Why such a great hurry in passing this bill in hush-hush silence? Most Jamaicans are unaware of the following legislations, and most Jamaicans are unaware that the following legislations have been amended for NIDS. Registration of Births Act 1889, Marriage Act 1897, Passport Act 1935, Revenue Administration Act 1985, Jamaica Nationality Act 1962, the Immigration Restriction Act 1945, the Forgery Act 1942. So many laws being amended without Jamaicans knowing. 2. Why does my choice to take an identity as a male or female warrant a new identification? 3. Why am I being punished for not choosing to have a particular ID? Suppose those who don't have driver's licenses were penalized, paying 100,000 or community service for not having one identification card? 4. Why does the government need my blood type and religion to conduct business, pay tax, travel, or go to school? Alright, like Moor just said, right now they're going around tagging up all their property. Right? What the so-called Jamaicans should be doing is going and asking the Maroons if the Maroons are getting them cards.
Exactly.
If the Maroons are saying, well, you know, we got our own ID or whatever like that, we don't need those people's cards, and we're not included in the whole Jamaica or whatever, then these people should probably start considering, you know what I mean, where they are in their mind.
You know what? One thing I always think about when it comes to like the so-called native Indians over here in America, Canada, and US, in other places in the world, like for example, corporate Jamaica,
the nationals of the land, the Maroons, their living conditions aren't like the living conditions of the so-called natives over here.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're living off of the land and they're sustaining themselves and everything's fine. Like they're not struggling. They're not begging for anything, you know?
Right.
And it's like it's like conflicting to me to see people not see that and understand like there must be something like why is it that they're not having a hard time living but we have this so-called government and we have bigger hardship in our life and stress, you know? It's just very confusing to I don't understand why people don't click.
They don't even get time to see that and know that.
Yeah.
No, some do. Like my family in Jamaica knows of the Maroons and you know they understand that they live off the land, but their perspective is like looking at them as bush people or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Not realizing
not
that.
civilized.
You know.
And they're the real civilized people or whatever.
Come on.
So that's why they don't even pay attention. So they don't
I guess you know.
ask them anything, Chris. They just put them aside as.
Sometimes they look at it as, oh, the government don't bother with them, the government don't give them nothing, leave them alone. So there's
So
nobody.
they think, they're nobody because
So
the
you have to
government
get
doesn't
something.
mess with them.
So if you have to get something to be a somebody, that basically, I don't know.
But the funny thing though, what the lady was saying with that video that you posted, that the same day that they came out with that, like to I guess amend it or whatever they do, was the same time the Ninja Man already came out.
It came out,
Then you got whatever years in jail. So,
Okay, I never heard about
some
that.
BS case. So like, which is something that they do regular on a global scale. They always bring out stuff when something else big is going on.
a distraction.
A distraction. So it's like,
And then word is that he was running for parliament.
yeah, and that was.
And
his
he
next
was talking
thing.
about,
president.
you know, instead of instead of the government paying the police, let the police go around and collect their salary because they serve the people. He was talking about
Oh, the hell goes
right? He was talking about
I'm gonna do work.
he was saying how actually it was him and Bounty Killer that were talking about ways to fix some of the problems in Jamaica or whatever. And all both of them kept going back to is that, well, you know, it has to be the people that does it. Like, we can't expect these people to be doing stuff, anything anymore. Like, we have to pick up the reins and say, okay, it's for us to do it, right? And we're going back to the thing that, you know, these are people who are prominent, known, or whatever, and they're taking a particular stand that is going to influence the nation to take the same stand. You know what I mean? That we have to do this stuff, we have to be self-determined in our activity. Our activity can't be, these people are gonna do something for us anymore. They were going down the line talking about, you know what I mean, single mothers. Where are the mothers at for these sisters who got single, you know what I mean, who are single mothers? You know what I mean, like the young single mothers. Where are their mothers at? Right? The brothers who are out there being criminals and all that stuff, doing whatever. Where their dads at? You know what I mean? Oh, well, he got arrested for whatever. Oh, well, if he's getting arrested for that, then clearly there's a problem. You know what I mean? If father's not there for the son because of some criminal BS, and now the son's in the criminal BS, clearly there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? And these are the prominent people that all these people know. You know what I mean? Another one that he was saying was, if I drive a Benz and I get pulled over by police, in order for that police to ask me any questions, he should have a Benz. There's no way. There's no way that this guy is coming to give me a ticket when I have a Benz and he's on a bike or whatever. No way, right? And then you're going back to that thing that, you know, if
there's some logic.
As
funny as it is,
right? Because where he was going was like, he's like, well, you know, so in order for them to have their Benz, the government give it to them. Get whatever they say they want, give it to them. As far as the police, but know that, you know, if you're gonna give you the stuff, then you're gonna go out and you're gonna do your job to like the best of your ability. There's gonna be no complaints. One complaint, we're taking your Benz and all this stuff. Right? He's like saying the only way that I would not give police problems is if police comes up, sees my Benz, he's asking me for whatever, and then he could say, well, yo, I got Benz, Range Rover, or whatever like that. I have a right to freaking give you a ticket right now, and then I'll take the ticket. Right? And again, like, you know, if you know, and even with Bounty Killer talking about going back to this thing about, well, you know, if the gang problem is and the killings and whatever is so vast, and you guys are trying to solve that, then you should probably take all that energy and put it towards solving poverty. And then you'll get rid of all the other problems. Because majority of the problems that you guys see is because people are poor. Especially out here, you know what I mean? And then the sister was going into, they can't go to the beach and all that stuff, and no way am I gonna pay, you know, $1,000 a night to go to the beach and stuff like that, you know, because I have to be on the hotel. I'm from the island, so I have to be on the hotel to see the beach. You know what I mean? Like I have to go on an all-inclusive
to see the beach.
to see the beach, and I'm from there. Crazy, right? But again, this is all part of you know, the initial reason with IMF going in there, right? The initial point was for these people to have jurisdiction in stuff that's not theirs. Have the people's mindset thinking, oh yeah, those guys are the government or whatever like that. Give them this artificial power that now they're using this artificial power to put these people in slavery.
Nope, I would track my property, sorry.
Right?
That's simple.
Tracking their own property.
These people are the waste, you know, they're the asset, right?
Right.
The asset.
Yeah. You know, because for so long, you know what I mean? Like even when we look at the thing with the Maroons, like for so long the Maroons been there. You never once said to me a question, these people see what's going on? You gonna still playing your Jamaican and all that? Alright. Then alright. Then, you know, because one thing we know for sure, Maroons don't call themselves Jamaican. They don't even go there. It's not even something that's on their mind to even try to tie themselves to that. Never. Right? There was a few questions. If anybody else has questions, you can put those up. Yeah, so Brother Malik sent the letter that he got from Justice and Solicitor General, Crown Prosecution Service, Suite 600, Centrium Place, 332 6th Avenue Southwest. 332 Southwest, Calgary, Alberta. Crown Prosecutor Adam Drew. Right. Crown Prosecutor Adam Drew. File number. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 charges. 17 charges. Dear Mr. Mackenzie, regarding Regina versus Mackenzie, Section 145 of the Criminal Code, court date November 28th to November 30th, 2017. Further to the above noted matter, please be advised that the Crown will be staying the above charges. Your attendance is no longer required on the scheduled court date. If you have any further questions, concerns, feel free to contact our office. Yours truly, Rebecca McCarty, for Adam Drew, Crown Prosecutor. Right? Now going back to the same thing that Amari was talking about with using these two names or whatever. If we have the Crown Prosecutor talking about Rebecca for Adam Drew. Rebecca for Adam Drew. Right now, this is supposed to be coming from Adam Drew, but Rebecca's signing it on behalf of Adam Drew. The same thing that Amari was saying. Amari LB for Sean Ham. If they can do it, why can't we do it? If this is our jurisdiction. So this again goes into what we always talk about with Moor's ex-relation. And don't be threatened or turned off by the all capital letters name that, you know, because we're more, we're trying to detach from it and all that type of stuff. Yeah, you can go that route, but trust you're going to have headaches with these people. Because they can only deal with this name. You start bringing up LB and stuff like that, you're going to have problems with them. So to get your foot in the door so that you can't close or whatever, right? You use your free national name, signing for Sean Ham, whatever the straw man name is, when they want to engage you as straw. When they want to play the game of you're the straw, you could do for, do X-relation, Amari LB, X-relation, that name is the same thing, Rebecca for. Right? Because remember that Rebecca is going to be, they have Rebecca written in cursive, like a signature, right? But then they have this written, not even in all caps. They have it capitalized property. They have it capitalized property, and they have this in cursive. But remember, they're quote unquote signing for the who's not there. So they have to put it in cursive because it's supposed to be a quote unquote signature.
Person.
It's supposed to be a person. But remember, we all know that the person, if we ask them, let me see your ID, they're going to show you something with all caps on it. Without reservation of rights. Which is them admitting that they are that thing. Whereas with Amari LB, if they check Sean Ham ID, it will say all rights reserved on it. Which would mean that obviously there's something behind Sean Ham. Like Sean Ham's not the all and be all if it says all rights reserved there. They don't know what's gonna precede Sean Ham, but they know that that's not it, because just like with this, the fact that they put for there on it, on the letter, letting him know that Adam Drew's reserving his rights. Because he really doesn't know how much this Moor knows or whatever like that. But we're going to tread lightly with him. I'm not putting my name on anything relative to that guy. Just my name only. Put somebody else's name on there, let them take the hit for me. Because the guaranteed, if he said, okay fine, I'm going to sue you guys for whatever, and goes and sues, this guy's going to say, well, I didn't sign nothing to say that, whatever like that. They signed, she signed it. go after her and they'll throw her under the bus, quick, fast. Just because when you start getting into, you know, the boys network, I was watching the hell was it last night? But basically, it was a British police show or something like that, and they had these corrupt police, and one told another one, well, if you want to be detective, you're gonna have to shoot somebody you know in the back.
Oh shit.
Like that's how you're gonna make detective. If you want to be, you know, and then at the end of the movie, he ended up killing the corrupt police or whatever like that, and then the end of the movie line was the commissioner or whatever having conversation with him, and in the end this man says, detective so-and-so, whatever like that, and then this man got what the hell was, what it's about. Really what it's about, you know what I mean? So, they're always going to have something to talk in front of, to have you thinking that it's not them, but always remember that once they put their name on it, document those names, put those names somewhere, right? Just in case you have to go at them later, right? And as well, keep in mind too that a lot of times, we checked this in Lonray's case, that a lot of times when you're dealing with these people on the level of they have something on you or they're trying to stick something to you, they're never ever gonna go with them going on the record putting the Free National name there. They're always gonna go with straw, which again is why it's important to recognize that, you know, you're not that, but like Drew Ali said, they owe you something in this name. So don't throw this name out thinking that, you know, you're off the grid, so we're going to get rid of it and then we have nothing. It never was you. But the fact that they're trying to hold you to it, regardless of what they're doing, the fact that they're trying to hold you to it, you better have something in the background. So all these people, for example, with the Jamaica whatever, if they're talking about fine, you don't have the $100 grand and all that stuff, then, you know, reserve your rights and continue doing what you're doing. Right? Because majority of these people, we know that they're not going to have an alternative. Like they don't have an alternative, a backup ID to say, well, no, we don't need that. We got one right here. You know, they could if they got with the Maroons, and then, you know, all the quote-unquote Jamaicans went on the Maroon side of the fence, then there would be no Jamaicans to push this thing on. They wouldn't even have an option of saying, oh, well, we're going to tag the Jamaicans. Right? It would be relative to here with, oh, the only people who are the Jamaicans are the people who are part of Parliament. The people who are part of the Senate. The people who are part of this corporate whatever, those are the Jamaicans. Everybody else, they're Maroons. They have nothing to do with the land mass, right? And then the other thing, because I messaged the sister from the video to see if we can get some more on our show or whatever, is the Jamaicans' denial that they're Americans. Because they're tying America to U.S. Corporation that's violating them, that's been violating them, but they don't want to say U.S. Corporation because they were trained that, you know, Europeans are Americans. But if they check American, they'll see American dark-skinned people.
But I always say to them over there, all of you guys over there, none of you have a document that said you're American citizen or you're American whatever. It said U.S. It doesn't say American.
Right.
And you're in the continent of America.
Exactly.
There's something to just think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't call yourself American when your document say United States citizen.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't work like that.
They don't get it.
No.
Again, everybody always asks where you from.
Yeah.
America.
And the same thing with the reserving rights.
Yeah.
From where, you know, the first time that I could do that, without even getting the knowledge that I have now, I did it. I did it with my pin here. It's here.
Okay.
The so-called driver's license. Before I ever get to where I am now, from the first time I realized that I could reserve, because I remember seeing on books and paper at the bottom it said all rights reserved.
All rights reserved.
So you gotta do big, man.
And then when I find out
All
that
day.
you can do it too,
Yeah.
oh yeah, when I go to the ministry, the lady said you gotta take off your hat. I said no, whatever you see, that's me. You can't change that now.
Yeah.
Whoever you see now, and that's it, see, it's right there. My rights reserved on it,
Right.
way back.
And again too, remember that, you know, more, like for as far as out here, Moor's changed how they even deal with the whole ID whatever, because ample amounts of Moors that had passports from before, when the passport came to you, the signature was on it already. Like whatever you signed, they lift that off of whatever you signed, then they put it on the thing, and then it's already there. Now it's blank for you to sign it.
When it come blank.
When it comes, it's blank now,
Okay.
right? Because obviously there's people who have to reserve their rights or want the option of, you know, not just going with. Because remember, if it's all rights reserved, if you put all rights reserved on it, right, and you're looking at the instruments like passports and things like that, those are things that are going outside of their purview. So for them to lift a signature that says all rights reserved on it, that's international war crime, that's forgery. Because they can't do that if the rights are reserved. They can only do that if it's blank. So that's why the license, they would just lift it, put it on. You know what I mean? More times you sign, and then they'll say, they'll use electronic signatures and stuff like that, because, you know, you're dealing with the domestic, whatever. But as soon as there's something that's going outside, they have to cross their T's, dot their I's, make sure that everything is being done in accordance with the international people who are looking.
The license is different, because this one now, I sign on the paper, and it comes from them signed like that.
Right.
I didn't have to sign this when I get it.
Right, right,
So
right.
this is
That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
because that one is local,
good. Yeah.
right? You're more than likely not going to use that outside if
That's
you have a passport or that.
That's right.
You'll more than likely use the passport.
Yeah.
Right?
Got you.
You gotta understand too. It's not just that license. It's a contract.
Yeah.
The majority of what you just signed is a
Everything.
highway
Traffic Act
and
contract.
it's thick like this. I downloaded it.
Yeah.
So you're actually signing all those documents.
Yeah.
So when you put all rights reserved, then you're just protecting yourself under that contract. That's why when they ever pull me over, I have no driver's license. I just write down my name and give it to them.
Contract.
It's a contract.
Everything is a contract, even the passport, everything.
Yep.
Everything.
From they stop you, they're
from your
engaging in
lease,
business.
Yeah.
So,
From
you know,
leases, from
Everything.
driver's license, or contract.
The real run like
It's
that.
all contract.
Yeah.
You gotta learn how to live within a contract.
right.
Brother Albacet L. Moor out in at Netherlands. This is an image copy of the registration form from the private foreign corporation company, the state of Netherlands, registered at the United States Stock Exchange. So I just thought, let me share this one particular info today with the Moors, the Moorish Americans, and the proactive, competent brothers and sisters of the Grand Royal, civic-minded, conscious, and the Canaanland Moors family, Al Maghrib, Al Aqsa, Al Morocco, the extreme west. Matriarch rules every day, all day. So he sent us the U.S. SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, State of Netherlands CIK number 000-100-8288. Business address Korte Warhoek, 7, The Hague, Netherlands. Right, so
I thought Netherlands was like a European.
right,
Part of-
European corporation.
Okay.
Right, just like in the other one that we put out, the gentrification video with Brother Jamal's. The intro for the video was this taboo mini-series or something like that, where they talked about blackamoor in it, and the idea that the people know, the European people know who it is that our people are, right? When our people in those parts of the world start, doing this type of research, finding out that even over there is corporate jurisdictions, right? In the taboo thing, they were talking about East India Company, right? The British going into India, and then India being a corporation, right? We were talking about, again with yesterday when we were doing the outreach, extended hand to our people to give them paper about their nationality and birthrights, and they have the tunnel vision or whatever like that. They're just going in that direction. All that. Right. I think we might have put this out before, but we'll just put it out there again. PBS.org has an article. PBS.org has an article called Sigillium Secretum. Sigillium Secretum. Sigillum, sorry. Sigillum Secretum. And it talks about it's by Mario de Valdez. Talking about the image of the blackamoor in European heraldry. The image of the blackamoor in European heraldry. And it's on pbs.org. Just to touch on the golden ring in the blackamoor's ear. To understand how these two objects are related to each other, the earring and the image of the crucifix, we must refer back to the Old Testament. In the book of Leviticus can be found in ordinance describing the ritual ear-piecing of any slave who chooses to continue in his master's service after being granted his freedom. Peace, Moor. All right. Since one of the most important of all Ethiopian royal titles was Slave of the Cross, the golden ring in the blackamoor's ear was probably meant to be interpreted as a deeply devotional and, considering the belief in the Bible as the Word of God, a highly rhetorical symbol. Just a little piece that's on there. But they have a lot. The arms of King Balthazar. Blackness as wisdom. Arms of Freising. Anything in there?
Okay. Let's start the security.
It's supposed to be something to do with seals or something like that.
Yeah, it is. Like the secretum I can't find.
But there's sigillum?
So sigillium means Latin in Old English law, a seal. Originally and properly a seal impressed upon wax. Oh shit.
And then go back again to, remember they're talking about blackamoor, right? Throughout the whole thing called sigillum secretum. Sigillum having to do with seal, right? Also look up sigil.
Sigil. You know, a seal or contracted or abbreviated signature used as a seal.
Abbreviated signature.
Or contracted. Say that part again.
Is a seal or a contracted or abbreviated signature used as a seal.
Right? And then, right, so if a sigil is a seal, also check the, if you can check the Random House right there, the sigil in there too.
Side note.
Yeah.
So it says sealed and pressed on wax. I was just thinking, is that why they call them, like when people do like records, why records is so important when they call them master? When they have a master.
Yeah.
Yeah, the piece that all the rest comes from.
Yeah. Oh, so that's the seal right there. So they seal it on wax.
Right.
Oh.
Or you know, original.
Okay. Well, that's why they fight over that. Having the master. Having
the master. Also too, like, you know, if you have the master, then clearly you are, not the slave.
Okay.
If you have the masters, you're not the slave.
Yeah, the slave.
If you have the masters, you're not making 50 grand on the album. You're making
500 mil.
before that.
Because you're the one that's printing it.
You're the one that's printed it up.
Yeah, okay, okay.
You got
Secretum's not in
sigil. Secretum's not there.
Sigils in here.
All right. All right. So yeah, we'll hit sigil first.
Sigil, noun, a seal or signet. Dim of signum, sign, seal. And it says adjective sigilistic. And it says that's adjective.
All right. So still, so sigil even goes back to seal. And you had secretum, you said? Secretum.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Secretum.
It's not here.
I have secretion. Secreting. So Moore's gonna do a little research on that one to find secretum. Well, the Navy base sent us some literature from Siege and Conquest of Alhambra, Moorish ballads. A very mournful ballad, which in the Arabic language is the following purport. The Moorish king rides up and down through Granada's royal town, from Elvira gates to those of Bivarambia, and he goes, woe is me, Alhama. And when the hollow drums of war beat the loud alarm afar, that the Moors of the town and plain My answer to the Marshall string. Woe to me, Alhama. They keep going in on the Moors in this. And the book is called Occasional Pieces. Occasional Pieces. Brother Wasim sent for Morris to look up Enriquillo, E-N-R-I-Q-U-I-L-L-O. Enriquillo.
Write that down.
That might be an online search. I don't know if it's going to be in the dictionary. Enriquillo. And it's interesting that you sent that too, because next week we'll send out the info, but we're trying to get into this fundraiser. This fundraiser next week for Dominica hurricane relief. Saturday, December 2nd, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. at San Lorenzo Anglican Church, 2981 Dufferin Street. September 18th, the Caribbean island of Dominica was ravaged by Hurricane Maria. With buildings destroyed and countless left homeless, Dominica is now left in devastation. For one day, the Caravan of Hope Global Aid will host this fundraising event featuring a local shopping experience, delicious food, and live entertainment. So we think Roots K is supposed to be one of the headliners. That's next week, December 2nd, 2017. 2981 Dufferin Street, San Lorenzo Anglican Church. And it sounds like when I called and left the message about trying to be involved with it, it sounds like it's a Moreno church. So it should be interesting to see what comes out of that. But we'll send out the email with regard to that for next week Saturday. And the Moorish ballads source, the poems and dramas of Lord Byron. The poems and dramas of Lord Byron. And native news. This was also from Brother Wasim. Native news. Tuesday, the 12th of January, 1999. Canada First Nations back Taino Treaty. Canada First Nations back Taino Treaty. A peace treaty signed in 1533 in the Caribbean between a Taino and a representative of the King of Spain was recognized as the first international treaty in the Americas between indigenous people and Europeans by over 100 delegates of the Assembly of First Nations National Treaty Conference held in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories on October 28th. And keep in mind that the Assembly of the First Nations are the later people, who aren't really the First Nations, right? They're not first, right? And keep in mind that the treaty with the Taínos wasn't called Treaty with the First Nation, right? The following is an article from the winter of 1998 issue of Native Americans, published by the Aquican Press, Cornell University. NativeAmericas.aip.cornell.u. NativeAmericas.aip.cornell.edu. If anybody got any questions, you could throw those up. Throw those up right now. You got any stuff?
No. Just got experiences.
So how does the Native Americans tie into the so-called Native Americans that's claiming to be Native Americans? And they don't seem to acknowledge the fact that the Moors were even in the country.
But they acknowledge that all the chiefs right now are Europeans.
So how does that whole thing come about? Like are they part of government?
Because they, you know, it's the thing about when they talk about the reconciliation and all that stuff.
And they got reserves and they got...
Yeah, the so-called Native Canadians or whatever, First Nation people, they need to reconcile the Negro black colored people.
Exactly.
Forget about what a European did to whatever. Those people call themselves Native, that's been playing around like they're the natives and all that stuff, and don't recognize what an Olmec head is, the first Aboriginal indigenous people in the Americas. Olmecs don't look like these people today who call themselves Native.
I think Saturday night, me and my son went to the Shoppers Drug Mart, and the cashier is local.
Yeah.
So when I present my card, she goes, Native, I know about the Native Canadian. And then I started breaking down to her, I said, Native Canadian, like, there are two people.
Yeah.
But then she said they pay off of the tax. I said, look at my stuff. It said not tax, zero, no tax.
No tax.
So
big difference.
And then she understand, oh yeah. Because in her head she see I'm black then.
Yeah. That's what her mind,
Yeah, then you know.
You don't look like those Indians.
No. So she understand it.
Right. Right. And then when we engage them on the 108, right? They know that we're the original. Yeah. Original. They're not gonna talk it. They're not gonna talk that in the open. This is why I'm saying that, you know, when they have a European Truth and Reconciliation to see the relationship between the Europeans and what the natives did and all that, there needs to be a Truth and Reconciliation for the black people and the natives.
Yeah, because I think Trudeau signed this bill for the retribution.
Right.
Like $1 billion.
Yeah. But again, it's only to the people who are under the Canadian recognition of what an Indian is. The Inuit and the Eskimo and whoever, these lake people who they say, oh yeah, we came over here on the Bering Strait or whatever. Well, you came over here on the Bering Strait, then clearly you're not from here. Like, but, you know, if our people are playing that they're black, then these guys could play that they're the natives. You know, Europeans could play that they're Americans, and everybody could play the game of, you know, we don't have to be who it is that we say that we are. We could be foreigners in other people's land, but call ourselves something else, and that's what it'll be. Just for the simple fact that we want to be blacks and Negroes and Africans and Jamaicans and Trinidadians, and we want to be all the BS, then that opens the door for all the other people to be whoever they're not.
On your estate, your dead
on your stuff.
Land, you know?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Your stuff.
Right, like we were saying yesterday, extended hands are people. Nah, no thanks. I don't have a donation. Well, you don't need. Why you never asked for no donation? What do you mean? Nah, it's all right. Not wanting it. What, Hindustani? Oh, Moorish? What? Let me see that. Give me one of those.
That's what I'm telling you, man. I've been
Oh,
around.
so whoever else? Oh, let me give me one of those. Let me see
Everybody
that.
else. Everyone. If you go to the store right now and you see a European, oh, you don't have no problem. You see one of our people, oh, you don't have a problem. And it's not their store. They're working for somebody.
You know, huh?
What did he say?
I'll have break loose. They want to fight you.
Exactly. Exactly.
My phone. You don't recognize the phone. Crazy.
Want to fight you. Go to blows. Over some they're not black. They're black people and all that stuff. You don't want to hear what the Moors are saying. Yeah. Don't want to hear what the Moors are saying. Right? But they'll listen to everybody else. Lie on them. Call them out their name. They listen to them. Moors telling them what their true name is or whatever. You know what I mean? Just like with the elder. Like,
I love to use the noun and the adjective on them.
yeah.
When they bring that to
The black.
You know me? From almost kindergarten they're teaching you that. And you forget that you're not an adjective.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that what stall them sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
They stop, they start thinking.
Remember, their circuits aren't
No.
connected.
The only way it's going to work
Then they think
is if the European went on the news and said,
Yeah.
this is what it is.
Yeah, something that drastic.
But
But
that's
I
what
mean,
No, but even when they do that, it's still not gonna listen.
yeah.
Still not. They will say that's a sellout European.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will think that's a sellout one.
So what do? You
Yeah.
Well, all the news at the same time, then maybe.
It's still not.
Yeah. Well, you could put that up. I know you were saying something back there, moms. You could put that up. 'Cause I know spirit talks to you.
Something missing in some people's head.
Yeah.
Crazy, like just see it's all black. And you look at them, you say you're really black. Look at your mind, look at your. So if outside black, inside black too, there is no talk. It's about black. It's black inside and outside. So you just wonder, where is it this person? Some part of them gone. Like it's just dead. Like
Jesus.
I don't know. Like, some of them not even Jesus piece, but they just still not getting it. Like
Yeah.
Well, you can always ask them, what country does black come from?
Exactly.
Where on the flag? Where does black come from? Where's the flag that says I'm black? You know, it doesn't exist on the globe.
The only black language I know is Ebonics, which is basically retarded.
Yeah. That's it. They know that language very well. They know that language well. Right?
Can I ask something?
Yes,
How come
sis.
when I put my name on like papers, how come when I tell them my last name, they don't put it on the paper? They leave my last name blank. Sade blank.
Yeah, well, if they put it, then they're admitting, which they don't really want to admit like that, because on paper, they know that Moors are going to take that, put it on YouTube as evidence and show that these people know what's up. Because they can't, so it's like what we were talking about earlier. Don't look
that's
at
disrespectful. Like
yeah,
that's my name.
Yeah.
It's always
But remember too, like we're supposed to be Smiths and Johnsons and stuff like that. We're not supposed to be no Elbays or whatever. If somebody's coming out saying that they look like black person, but they got Elbay on their name, these people are looking at they're going all over the place. That might be the code breaker for them.
I ordered food yesterday, and I spelled the last name for her, and then when I saw my receipt, it says Sade blank.
Yeah.
But I spelled it out specifically for her because she's like, Bay, B-A-Y, or B-E? B-E-Y. B-E-Y, okay, Sade, Elbay, blank.
Yeah.
So what were you putting in the computer when I was talking to you?
Just the first.
My God.
All companies are talking.
So what were you asking me Bay so long for, and it's not even on the paper?
Right. But then remember too, what we were talking about, that, Sade is Shaddai. And that's a Jewish God. You know what I mean? That they got from the Canaanites or whatever, you know, before Abraham changed his name to, you know, they had a God before Yahweh. So, you know, you're coming, you know, like I was telling you with Supreme, and then he said, you know, Amin Ra, the judges. That's your name? That's the Egyptian God. What do you mean your name is Amin Ra or whatever? What? Throw the book at this guy, throw this guy in jail. You cannot listen to him at all. Don't let him talk. Nothing. Don't let him let anything out. Right? Go ahead, sis. You had something? I thought you were going to make a comment.
Peace, brother.
All right, peace and love, brother. All right. Anybody else got anything? Testimonials, anything going on?
You want to ask me a question?
I just want to add
Yeah, Mark.
to the Black Friday stuff.
Okay, it's going on.
I was watching online and these people are like animals.
I was saying they're going nuts. I haven't seen anything yet.
This is always
Animals.
Zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
They're crawling on each other.
Crazy.
They're
Stupid.
fighting, and like it's not just like Asiatics. It's like
Everybody's on it now. Yeah.
Everybody's on it. Like, everybody's black now.
Everybody's black. Everybody's
on this
black.
one weekend. This 1 week, yeah.
One day of being black. You know what I mean? Get the Negro
that.
deal. Get the Negro deal one day. Yes, sir.
Like, am I allowed to write my Moorish name on a paper, like at school, or do I have to stick with the name until I'm finished school? Like my regular name until I'm finished school.
If I say, what's your name? What's your name?
Keyshawn.
That's it? Just Keyshawn, that's it?
Keyshawn Dennis.
Alright, and Keyshawn Dennis, that's it? Right, so when you get to the place that it's here, then everything out here is gonna be the same. So you don't want to do it out here before it's here. Right? So if you're doing your math homework, you're not thinking about science. You have to be thinking about math if you're doing math. You have to think about science if you're doing science. Right? If you're doing language, you're thinking about language. So once you have it in your mind, then on the paper, out your mouth, whatever is going to be what's here, right? But to answer your question, yeah. But you have to have it here in order to put it on the paper, right? Just like with Sade's example. The lady was on the phone and she said, "What? B-E-Y, that's my name." And then when she got the paper, it didn't say that. It just said the first name only. Even though she told her what the name is, and she asked her so she can put it down, they still didn't put it down.
But she put the first name.
But she put the first name. But that doesn't mean that you're not who it is you say you are, because that paper doesn't make you who you are. No paper doesn't make you who you are. Who makes you who you are is what you have up here. Makes you who you are.
And to add to that too.
And if anybody has anything else to add on to that,
yeah, like to add to that for him is that for me now, my son, I have to be trying to remember to say Noir instead of what he used to be. You understand? Is he here? I'm saying my son. I have to practice to call him by his proper title now, because all his time was the other name. So even you know, you could start making your friends in school calling you by that. And then that's going to register even before you don't even go to the paper yet, but it's all in here and around you. Because your people are going to start to call you that name. Just like in school, back in the time, you got your title or your name, but there's a nickname we call you. And we call you that more than any other name in the school. You know? Yeah.
Shalom.
Anybody else got any more?
No, just, I mean, to add to it, I mean, you asked a great question. It's almost like...
Yeah, round of applause for the question.
Because it's almost like you're on the playground or the basketball court. Everybody's calling you a nickname or something that they don't call you in school.
No.
That you don't write down.
No, that's right.
I mean, yeah, trust me. Growing up, I could meet anybody and they don't know my real name.
No.
It's like, you know, it's like Brother King. He saw me, he was like, that's your name. Yeah. He knew me as something else when we were younger, right?
Yeah.
So, again, the question is a great question. You tell everybody, yo, my name is so-and-so. You give them your Moorish name. When you do your test or whatever, okay, you could write your corporate name. Let's get back to it again. That still does not discount who you are. You're a Moor. You can tell them anything you want. Again, myself, the last year, I don't know how many jobs I've had, but everybody asks me, what's your name? I give them my national name. But then the boss will call the corporate name. Then they look at me, it's like, how come you? I said, listen, I tell you who I want you to call me.
Yeah.
That's what's on the paper. Right? They're like, yeah. But everybody called me by my indigenous name.
Yeah.
But on the paper, it's my corporate name. So yeah, the question is a great question.
Very good.
It goes in. It falls in line with what we're teaching everyone is that you are who you say you are. That's it.
And then, and once you have it in your mind, then you would be
It's like
what you are, opposed to having to say it or write it. Or
it's
whatever.
like my son now. He's telling me now, Daddy, like I have my phone on record, and the highwayman came to my window, and I tell him who I am, and I have it on record.
Yeah.
So he can't tell me nothing after.
Right.
Exactly.
I tell you who I am, and I have it on record here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So whoever you want to classify me as, I first told you who I am.
Yeah.
No further. Came past that. And he have it on his phone. So you
It goes to show
in other words, too, in the end, what they do, they give him Jando. You remember I was telling you, they call him Jando. They want to accept him. They don't want to accept who I tell you I am.
So
know you calling me
So then why
Jando.
bother? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
why
what
bother?
are you asking me for?
Yeah.
You're gonna do something?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Go ahead with your Jando.
But then
Go ahead.
they'll, if you give, LB or whatever, and then they check and they see that you have a license or something like that, they'll say, oh, you're violating something because you're giving a fake name. But they'll never charge themselves for calling you John Doe.
No.
Right? After they find out who you are, right? They're still gonna go with they could have did that. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter or whatever. When it matters, that's denationalization. That's you know what I mean? Violating.
Big time.
Yeah. Straight.
What I was gonna say was it's like they're still trying to erase his other history.
Yeah.
She gave him the name, which is a Moorish name, and they didn't keep it. You know what I mean?
They want to put it on the record.
Found out about Victor Moore.
Yeah.
Who was the only one that stopped Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Never heard of this guy with martial arts ever.
Never.
And he won the fastest in the world. He was the fastest in the world.
Exactly.
Faster than Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
But you don't ever see this guy?
Yeah.
Crazy.
He was Moorish? He was Moorish?
No, it's not. His name is Victor Moore.
Oh.
He's Moore.
Moore beat up Bruce Lee, and then they're playing like they don't know who the Moors are. Right?
Looks like even the paper here with a James Moore. You remember the same picture?
Another one?
Yeah, James Moore.
Is the one that wrote it?
Yeah, one of them in there where the Chinese, they want to put ban on them to take over the asset. Today's paper, I picked it up in the bus.
And it's a Moor who wrote it.
James Moore is right there working in the
Great
thing.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the hair store yesterday, and me and this Asian guy always fight. Because he's overpricing, whatever. So I actually, every time I go to the front, I ask about other things. This time I went to the front, and I was like, do you take taxi? Yep. I was like, do you take taxi? Yep. Indian car? Just bring it. I was like, I didn't even say tax yet. Because he's the only Chinese man in the store. And all the girls are at the front. So I'm like, I don't like you. He knows I don't like him.
Yeah.
He's like, yep, I take it, just bring it, okay. I'm like, okay. So I guess he really, really knows. Of course.
Yeah.
God.
It's not like we're making something up. You know? We're just being awakened to what's
Because if it's
fact.
5 cents, you know they're not giving you that product.
Right?
5 cents.
And then remember too that they're taking position too of they have jurisdiction in Jamaica and stuff right now.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like crazy. I can't even
Yeah.
remember.
They're making claims.
It said it, man. The asset.
Seen at the national.
The asset over here, the asset is the people, and they want it. They're banning them from.
They also get the cards.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, are they gonna get that NIDS card?
Who's that?
The Chinese.
The Chinese, yeah. I mean,
Well, remember,
They
they're
want
not
a lot
in.
of shit.
They're not in Jamaica.
They're not Jamaican either.
Right?
Right?
It's not only Jamaica alone, it's all the Caribbean islands.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's been happening, some of the people in government in the islands sell them passports. So
Yes.
when they come there, stay for 2 years, get citizenship and move on to whatever next they have to move on to.
Nice.
You know?
Yes, that's true. That is
Yep.
true.
And then also too, even the people who are part of the quote unquote Jamaican government fighting against the thing. I didn't even hear what them people are saying. I'm sorry, no. I don't care. You got because everybody's mad about the bill, but it's passed and all that.
It's already passed.
It's passed and everybody's mad.
So how it
Clearly they're railroading people.
Yeah.
Clearly people are getting violated.
I don't think they even put it to a vote. I think they just...
Yeah, they just push this.
They
They just push this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because again too, you're dealing with the whole you're dealing with the crown.
Let me doing them things right.
Yeah.
Well,
No, in Jamaica.
if McDonald's is changing one of the rules, none of the employees can say anything. It's the
What they
same
gonna
thing,
say?
right?
What are they gonna say? They have zero say. Right? They assume they have say because they pay their taxes and they pay their whatever, but
All employees pay their taxes.
all employees pay.
The only
All
say they
employees
have
get
is
their-
not being an employee.
Still can't go
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah.
Tell them
That's
what to
it.
do.
I quit.
I quit, If you're not quitting, then it is what it is.
So do you think like they're gonna basically enslave the people?
It's already done.
Say that again?
They're gonna enslave them, so they're gonna come here and work or go somewhere else, I guess.
Oh no, they already enslaved.
Yeah, I mean, like from the like we're talking about from the debt perspective, they've been in slavery already. Money that they owe to different people who helped them get out of the whatever stuff that they were in.
Look at Haiti and France. I mean, they've been under France for like years. They can't get out of that debt.
Yeah.
It's not set up for
But
that.
the funny thing is,
It's a
it's
setup.
France
It's a
that
sole
owes
setup.
them the debt.
Yeah.
Exactly, but it's
Right?
like
Switch like if it's
there's
them.
no way
Yeah.
they can get out of that debt.
Of course you can.
course.
Nationality.
Well, yes.
Of
There's
course.
always an
Okay.
option.
See what I'm saying?
Of course.
But it's been going on for years.
Yeah, but it doesn't
No,
matter.
but-
We too been going on for years.
Who is the
It's
real
the-
French vacation?
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah.
Again, remember, it's France that owes the debt. But remember, what is money? France owes them the gold and the silver.
Because they
And
didn't
the
pay
people
for
are
that.
giving them fiat.
Right.
Right? So who's really in debt? It's all up here, man. The mindset. They're not in debt.
Once it changes,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we're saying, like the quote unquote Jamaican government, whatever, they don't even talk with the Maroons.
No. Can't.
Like
Do they
back to those people. Like we don't even care what those guys are doing.
In the court, the Maroons, do they have
No,
representation?
because they don't use them kind of.
They don't use none of that. They're Aboriginal indigenous. They got their own court. They got their own judge. They got their own minister of whatever. Like across the board, everything quote unquote Jamaica government has, Maroons have their own version. You know what I mean? That community deals with their version.
Yeah.
Something going on.
And,
you
and
know,
if you tell, I think it's for the past years upon years, one murder ever come out.
In the line, yeah, for real.
One,
Yeah.
I think.
True.
Yeah.
And look, just down in the city, daily.
yeah, they were talking about 1,500 murders or something last year or something like that.
Yeah.
1,200 murders or
Good.
something.
Good.
More than
And look,
Toronto.
That's crazy.
In a small local place.
Yeah.
Place like that.
Yeah.
You know, but again, it goes back to that same thing we were talking about in the beginning with the gentrification.
Yeah.
That this is what they do, right? Come in, all the people who lived you know, where before they built this resort or whatever like that, all the people who lived there, those people got displaced. Now they're in the area where people they might have had issues with before. Right?
And now they're gonna be a rival.
Now there's something going on with that. You know, which again is a level of depopulation because you know there's too much people on the planet. You need to get rid of people, and the best way is let the people do it their own.
Even my sister was telling me about those stones, I think in Georgia. Those stones, those big stones on each other where something's written there. She said all these people need to go read what's there, and if they think whoever put those stones up and put their energy in writing that, think it's a joke, they better go read that stone.
They're not going to. I mean, with the gentrification and with the Haitians applied to the African Union to become part of the African Union. So look it up. And
Haitian or Asians?
Haitian.
Oh,
Chinese.
And they got denied. Tell them, no, you're not African.
Right? But they won't go with that as as destroying the slave story.
Yeah.
Because if Haitians aren't African, then ain't nobody else should be talking about they're African.
They're African for real.
But you want to go join African Union when you're American?
Yeah.
And then the other people on the other side saying, well, we're Republic of some, and you guys are on the same stuff? Why are you on the same stuff, two different people saying they're different stuff?
Oxymoron.
You know what I mean? So you look like each other, talk about, well, we're not brothers, we're strangers to each other.
Yeah. So just look it up. But yeah, it's and for gentrification, like again, I just came back from there, and there's I don't know if y'all know in New York, Queensbridge, Rochdale area. There's one building in the middle of everything, and all I see coming out of there is Caucasian people. All they do is just come out, go straight to their car and go. I said, wait a second, that's right in the ghetto. But you go into that building, it's clean, it's fixed up, everything. The other buildings, the same thing they do in Two Region Park and everywhere. Kicking the people out, fixing up each apartment. People that used to live in Manhattan that paid like $3,000 for a bachelor, coming up here paying $1,500. So they get rid of everybody that's been there for a minute, taking them out, put them in.
It started cheap. It's up now.
No, but still, what I'm saying is, there's one particular building, all that's in there is Caucasian, right in the ghetto, and nobody's touching them. As bad as they are, bad man, this man, whatever, nobody's touching them.
You don't mess with the white folks.
You know what I'm saying? And I was watching them.
Then they see a brother walk by. Where you from? You know what I'm saying? But then they see a Caucasian. Hey, hi, sir.
You should.
Some real house Negro.
Yo, man. I was watching. I was in the conveyance and just watching it, and they just come out. They don't go to the shops or anything. They just come out, go to their conveyance, and come in a conveyance, whatever. They don't go to the shops, whatever. Just and again, it's just like clear as day. It's like going up on Bayview Avenue or whatever.
Yeah. Those ones.
Yeah. And nobody's doing nothing. And the funny thing, and again, this is the part that our people we're gone. I'm sorry. That particular building, nobody walks through it, walk through the grass and nothing. They walk through the other buildings.
They don't do it like the hood. Yeah.
They walk through the other buildings around it, but that one building, I mean, it's in the open. It's not fenced around or nothing. The other ones are fenced around. They're jumping over those fences to get around to the fence.
But not this one.
Not this one.
Not this one.
Where you say that was? Where you say that was?
It's in Queensbridge, by Rochdale area in New York. So again, Manhattan, there are a lot of people moving out of Manhattan, coming up, taking out Queens now.
Yeah, they did a cleanup. When was it? Well, when I was down there, they cleaned up the hood. There was like trucks full of the guys go to jail. At least 20 man deep.
Yep.
Each block. It was all over the news though. Like, oh, we're doing a cleanup of New York City. I swear, I'm not even lying. It was on the news. They're cleaning up the city. All the drug dealers were gone.
Yep. And they're playing their property game again.
Yep.
You know.
Simple as that. moving them, whatever.
Right now,
Just-
I see desperation.
Not one nigga in sight.
Right now, all I'm seeing is desperation.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they don't know what to do. So it's like they're doing anything that comes to them, they're doing it.
Yeah.
Desperation.
It's like me and Omar were talking about how, you know, in the cartoons, when they have dude trying to hold it together or whatever, and he's in the splits or whatever, and one toe is like, and then one toe is here, and then they got the stick between the toe trying to make sure that everything, because the thing spread so far that like they can't even hold it together right now.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
They don't even know what to do. You know what I mean? And the best thing that they could do is get the people to assist them into keeping this thing together that's falling apart. Right? Again, like we said with yesterday, like mad Asiatics passing us straight giving out papers. Like they don't want to know. But they got their champs bag. They got their roots bag. They got their Black Friday 50 bags or whatever like that. But when it comes to them getting some knowledge of self, know who they are, they don't want it. And then all these other people, you know, Iranian took paper. All those so-called Ahmadiyya movement guys took newspaper. Europeans, you know what I mean? Hindustani people just stop and just look at. Oh, you want a paper? Oh, thanks or whatever. Because they know what's up.
Yeah.
Right? Only our people in the dark.
It's just sad, man.
Sad. I mean, one of the brothers was saying it today too. Like, yo, man, damn, watch that Jamaica video, man. That stuff's sad or whatever. That these people are allowing this thing to go on to them. They're letting it happen. They're sitting back and letting this thing happen.
They're not doing nothing.
Right? And you know, the only thing to do is get back with the Aboriginal, Indigenous, de jure culture. It's the only thing that is do that first and then start doing all the other stuff, marching, picketing if you want to do that. But you can't be property talking about we don't like what they're doing, you guys can't do that, why you doing that? No, you're not hearing nothing they're saying.
They took the politics for entertainment. When Porsche was running, it was all entertainment, and now look at what's going on.
Yep.
It's silly.
You got something, bro?
Oh no, it's just the way that sometimes it's right in front of everybody's faces, and when you try to tell them, you know, like let's go with the gun law. Okay, the United States have this gun law, right? Just the other day in Las Vegas, the man shot up a whole crowd of people, right? And they're interviewing these Europeans. And the Europeans are like, yeah, I still need my gun and all that stuff. I walk around with my gun, I got my gun on my hip, whatever. But yet, a black guy or a black American or whatever, he'll get charged for gun possession. So is he not covered under the same constitution as the white guy who's bragging and boasting that he's got a gun on his hip?
No.
And you're going to jail for gun possession? You're holding a gun and you got, and the white guy is, yeah, I've got a gun that's locked and loaded. Someone steps to me, I'll shoot his face off on camera.
Because again,
and the blacks, no, we're getting. If I have a gun on me, I'm going to jail. And it's under the same law,
and
the same constitution.
And you're getting years per bullet.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's ridiculous. It's right in your face how it's double standard, but you're not.
But again, I mean,
you're getting arrested for gun possession, not gun using. Possession.
Possession.
But a white guy is bragging and boasting that he's got a gun. He's going to shoot any black guy that comes to his house.
Oh yeah.
And it's right. How plain?
How much more?
Like, so
they don't get
it's
it.
messed up. It's right in your face.
They don't, again.
What do you need?
You know,
for
you
to
see,
change?
you think of it as plain.
It is. Yeah.
You see it as plain. They see it as racism.
Yeah, they see what's going on
Yeah,
here.
racist discrimination.
The so-called police officer empties 9 bullets into your back, and someone on. I wonder if that's racism.
Honestly,
I wonder if that's waste. 9 bullets in your back, and you're wondering, you're scratching it. No, pick up the next gun and shoot him back.
But again, you know,
You gotta scratch your head and have a debate about if it's racism.
if they don't have the right to bear arms because they're not party to the Constitution, then, you know what I mean? Marching pickets go on.
But they don't read the Constitution.
Right?
That too.
No, and that's why ignorance is no excuse.
No, it's racist.
What do you
Read
do?
the Constitution. Wait a sec, I can have a gun?
Yeah.
So how am I getting charged for gun possession? Oh.
Yeah,
Ignorance of the
because
law.
you're property. Property can't own property. Guns are property. Black guys are property. You can't have property, can't have property.
It's messed up, man. And when you tell them, they think, oh, you're crazy, man.
Yeah, well, you know
you're
what
talking
you're
that crazy stuff.
Oh, the white man gives you that.
Yeah, I'm using what the white man's using. What the white
Constitution.
Anyway,
Yeah, you know. Well,
welcome back, by the way.
hi, bros. Yeah. But when you see me, it's because I'm here ready to go there again. Oh man. You know, I just see things repeating themselves. I mean, we can transfer, I'm sorry to use this allegory, you know, this way of explaining. You can take a dog, and no matter where you put it, it's still a dog, right? And unfortunately, so many of us have been programmed in what I call the estate mentality, right? That even after owning the estate, because I've seen it happen. These people are working in the estate for years, you know, several generations. The owner dies, he doesn't have any relatives, so he leaves the estate for the workers. But they have no you know, they don't have the skills to manage the estate, so they hire a manager. They have nowhere to put him, so the only place he can be put is in the old boss cabin. You know, wherever the boss lives, that's where the manager has his office. Now the children are told, listen, this belongs to us. But if they approach the front door, the parents say, no, go through the back door, right? Why? That's what they did. And they're training their children, even though they own the place. Don't go through the front door, go through the back door. After a while, the guy who they hire gets this thing where everybody's giving him special respect, you know. Though they're the ones that he's working for. And all of a sudden, he's the boss. He's telling them what to do. You know, so even when they move from that environment to here, that programming is still there. So anytime they see an office or any authority figure, even, it's like, you know, let's bow to that. So it's not an outside thing, it's an inside thing. You know.
I don't think Europeans like to be called or referred to as Europeans, because like normally I'll talk about like white people and no one will look. And then the moment I'm like, yeah, but then the European, they're like,
everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, I know
She
where
find
you're
out?
from.
She find out?
No, I think it's so weird. I just realized it. They're going through the door and then they stop and look and I'm like, yeah, but the European guy looked at me.
Right now? You know what you're going through right now? You remember when in Matrix, when Neo realized and he grabbed the bullet? Then all the bullets just and then he jumped into the guy like, hey, I know who you are. That's exactly what's going on right now. Right? Because remember that the game's been played on us the whole time. The whole time it was all about keep us in the dark. Nobody else didn't matter because, you know, nobody else has estate around here. We're the only ones with an estate. Right? Keep us dumbed down. You start talking about, you know, the European, but then when you even go deeper and you start talking about, hey, what's your last name or whatever? You know, Smith or John. What's it? English and German, and you start talking to them on them levels, then you even get more of the wide eye from them. Because now you're going even now into there, and then on top of that, now you're letting them know, hey, don't forget what the Moors ruled where don't think don't try those ones. Right?
A question I've always asked is how do you program people to behave in a certain kind of a way? And you know what gave me the key? You kind of touched on it a while ago when discussing where in Jamaica the Maroons live. There's very little violence.
Right.
Now imagine you're living in a society where there's very little violence. You hardly ever see somebody getting killed. And then you have a people, and you can see it from this movie called Vikings. You have a people who are just, you know,
Savages.
Savage. And they come into village and they start chopping up people. I mean, that alone is traumatizing.
Oh yeah.
True.
Oh yeah. For
So
generations.
For
generations.
It's traumatizing, and they've been trained to look at, you know, as death as being an acceptable thing, you know. Die, kill, I live to die, you know. And you see that violence, you're not used to it. It's of course it's going to cause trauma for generations, and that's the control method. That's why we're still, you know.
Psychological.
It's like I used the example the other day. Why are we so afraid of snakes and we've never been bitten by one? Because in earlier generations, if you got bitten by a snake, you were dead, right? And so that fear is in you. Becomes part of you, and it's passed down to the children. So you don't have to tell them to be afraid of the snake. They've already been programmed. When you see a snake, don't get close to it.
Well, just like if you see a bum sleeping on the sidewalk, he has no place to go, no food in the dead of winter. He's dying there on the floor, right? So why doesn't he pick up a rock and bust a window and go to jail? Wouldn't that make more sense? You sit in jail, get 3 meals a day, and a warm bed, but society's not programmed like that. And it's right, the people step right over it. You pick up a rock, bust a window, go to, you know.
Or pick up a rock, bust a window, and go and line in the car. You're gonna go to jail anyway.
Society's not programmed like that.
Might as well chill for a minute. Wait till they come get me.
People stepping over your body, right?
It's like being hungry and there's food there. You know.
That's why in the grocery stores you always see bread in the front. So if you walk past the bread and steal something in there, then they'll arrest you. But if you're hungry and starving, you pick that bread up and they won't tell you anything. You know that?
No, I didn't know that.
That's why the bread is, well.
I didn't know that.
That's why the bread is right in front of the door. There's no cameras on it or nothing. Pick the bread, you go.
I know the so-called Lebanese in the islands. If you go in the store on the Monday morning, they've got a bowl with money. So it's like a ritual. You give a beggar something, you know. And if you go into the store and you know they give you a price and you say, that's too much. Even if they have to almost give it away, you can't leave that store without buying something. And the psychology behind it, gee, I went here and I got something almost half an hour. You tell 20 of your friends and they all want to rush down to you in the morning, right?
That works.
That's from way back with the Chinese in the islands. Your parents send you to the store. You go to the so-called black man store, you probably shortchange you, or give you exact change, and you go. You go to the Chinese man store, he give you exact change, he fix you up, and he give you a candy on top of that.
Yes.
When mama send me out, where am I going? For real. Simple, where am I gonna go? Where I'm gonna get my candy.
Straight up.
Man.
That's real good.
That's definitely
So what they do when they come, if you notice, the first thing they do, they send their folks into the fields to sell their wares, right? This is to get to know the people, you know, become aware of their culture, right? Know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then they set up in town. You know? And they will come because why? You know this guy, right? He's always giving you an extension, a death extension. So if you go in the store, he's going to give you the same. He knows where you live.
From way back, there's like even the Syrian, like how Siago was the Prime Minister in Jamaica. Syrian. I remember in the days, the Syrian man used to pass in his car. You want pot, plate, he give to you. Remember, it's your house. He give to you. 2 weeks time he come back, he collect, he give you again. And they were all over the place. And that's how they get to know
So you're indebted to him?
Yes, all over.
Because all they're doing is applying what we have already. It's a debt-based economy, right? Everything is based on debt. So if you're in debt, you're enslaved to the person
who owns.
I remember those days.
So just another reminder, January 6th, I left some flyers there, so please feel free to take whatever you want to give out. January 6, 2018, we've got our 8th annual Noble Drew Ali Day and Moorish Culture Gala. The Moorish Culture Gala comes from the Moorish Costume Ball, where we're going with the theme of Moors being themselves. So, you know, go out, get your, whatever you get. You got your tailor.
This year was good.
You know what I mean? Do your thing. Last year was the first year that we did it.
It was the first year.
And it was
good.
It was very good. You know what I mean?
Everybody came through looking good.
Everybody came through.
Just one question. Do we have any Moors in Trinidad that you know of?
Not. I know there are some out there, but not any direct contacts.
Oh.
No. So January 6th, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Myself, Brother Seton Rabe, and we're working on Skype with Taj Tariq. So feel free to take the flyer, spread the word. You know, it's open to all, but it's really a celebration for the Moors, because you know we know what's up with Prophet Noble Drew Ali and all that. So it's really a thing for us. But you know, we doors are open, right, for people to support.
Just actually, I'm gonna put it on the record. I got an email from one of the brothers in regards to the email that I've been sending out in regards to dues, and his question to me was, how come you keep sending out this email stating if dues are not up to date, you're gonna get suspended or expelled from the temple? Can't say I didn't tell you. That's basically how I'm saying it, because I keep sending out the email just basically reiterating that we have to start stepping up and being accountable to ourselves and to y'all as well. If Moors don't want to help contribute with contribution, I mean, it's fine in your eyes, but for us to keep everything going, we need your assistance. With that said, we have 1 month to go, and that list is going to be cut in more than a half, with a lot of Moors not assisted. So, can't say I didn't tell you, because that's what we've decided to do. The body has come to us and asked us to do it as well, and we're doing it. So, with that,
don't get it on some vibe of we're claiming some authority or whatever.
No.
This is people who are paying their dues already.
And they're like,
and they're like, well, you know what I mean? Like, how come people are getting certain access to things or benefits or whatever like that when they're not even paying no dues? Why should they even get the same stuff I get if I pay dues? So, you know what I mean? Know that there are certain people who are seeing this as theirs.
Listen, man, the enslavers that put us in slavery. Every Sunday morning, every child going to church have his collection. Have his collection. Going to church Sunday morning with his collection. So now, what are you going to tell me for us to uplift for our own fallen humanity and to contribute to it? What's the big problem? He doesn't, whatever you have. Because I remember, I am not talking about somebody tell me. I'm talking about personally, I got my change, going to church, and I drop it in that plate.
You didn't even think about it.
No, I'm not knowing they're enslaving. I know I'm out of that.
Yeah.
And to uplift myself, you're going to question it?
Even on that, one of my uncles this past weekend was telling the story that a cousin and I, we went, we were supposed to go to church. We were like maybe, I forgot about it, we were like maybe 7, 8.
Yeah.
So we went to church with our offerings, whatever.
Of course.
And me, and now, again, it's a long time ago, I took my change and went to the candy store. And then he saw me do it. He went home. Well, before he went home, he went to another candy store to do his stuff. But he went home and told on me.
Yeah.
So when I got home, I got beaten for not having my, for not giving my
in
outfit.
the church, yeah.
But I remember saying, wait a second, you did the same thing too. Right? Because I was going to tell on him. But, well, whatever. Again, this is something I forgot. But to your point.
Yeah.
If you don't give your offering, you get beaten.
Yeah.
And don't we hear about the stuff about, oh, that's a slave master mentality. That's a plantation when they beat you and stuff like that. That's discipline. Right? That's discipline.
But yeah, again, I'm not forcing anyone to pay dues or doing it. I'm not. I am not. All I'm doing is I'm putting the word out that if they're not in 6 months, again, that list is already long. And then the expulsion, that list is getting long as well too, for the 12 months. We have to do it.
When you know yourself, you're supposed to know that's a part of it.
Right.
That's a part of it. Uplifting fallen humanity, man. No other way.
Ain't no different than.
No different. Yeah.
Question. So, up until the end of December, who doesn't have their dues up to date, up to 6 months, will be on that list?
Well, it has to be consecutive.
Okay.
If, again, say you gave dues in January, not February, March, April, May, came back June, dropped something, you know what? There's got to be some leeway in there because you are trying.
Right.
You know? But
tempters don't get hit. You know what I mean?
But if you're going to tell me that...
You have an account, because we could, it's like if we can't make it in all the time.
That's I was gonna say, what if I make a lump sum, like I pay like 3 months in advance, or
a lot of Moors do that.
Because that's what I plan to do for the end of the month, catch
do
up
that.
with the missed months.
A lot of Moors do that.
Right.
But again, it comes down to our 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Exactly.
We always say, give what you can.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that only one note you could contribute, right? But yeah, you know, new stuff every day, and remember, it's you.
You guys accept Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Credit? You accept credit?
I'll ask Rogers if I could give them Bitcoin. I'll get back to you on that. But no, but seriously, just, you know, again, it's not a matter of us saying give a bill and know whatever. No, just give what you can, but just know that we need the notes to help us out doing what we're doing.
It has to be consistent. Right at the shop, up where I am there, up where
I get you.
Where I work there, there's these Hungarian, or what's it called? Yeah, with a blue flag on the Hungarian.
I believe Hungarian.
The kind? No. It's a kind of a light blue and whatever flag.
Swedish?
They're American. They're from the Argentina.
Chile.
Yeah, somewhere along there. And they have their little community. And the unit, they own it. You go inside there, it's like a banquet hall. And it's a body shop unit. And they do they come there, have their togetherness, have their things happening.
Right.
We gotta get there.
Right.
We have to. We should have our own building already. If it's in a unit.
Anything.
It's in a unit, you know?
Anything.
Yeah.
And you're right.
And this is the only way.
There's no other way that is
as it is now, you know? Because today's a man has stopped falling right now.
I mean, as I said, man, like Moors, like trust me when I say to y'all, like, you know, we got it locked already.
Of course.
With our nationality. We got it locked. Like it's done. It's like it's done.
Yeah.
Right. However, we gotta build a nation.
Like just to show you how real it is, right? There's been because we don't have certain things, you know, quote unquote established yet. We don't want to extend, right, to receive from certain people, right? But there's been people who they just won or whatever with some stuff going on out here, and they're like, yo, like we'll put the whatever. Right? They're not even part of our nation like that. And they're like, we'll put. You just say when, it's sitting there, it's waiting for you, you just say when, we'll put.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's not, it's useless to take it to go to nothing. You know what I mean? If we're gonna take it, it's going to our own stuff that we're building or trying to build or whatever. It's not gonna go to renting something or, you know what I mean, leasing something or whatever. It's gonna go to us having ownership of something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You know? Because again, like, you know, when we look at the call, uplifting fallen humanity and all that stuff, you know, one of the things that we're recognizing even too with acknowledges to the people even who bring their children to class.
Yeah.
Right? Forget sitters and whatever else.
We gotta get
They
that
bring their
straight
children here.
too, man.
Because what's the sense, right? What is it that we're gonna have to show them in 5 years, 10 years, right? What they gonna be walking into 5 years from now?
Yeah, these babies.
They walking into this stuff right here, or they walking into something that they can say, "Whoa, wow, like this Moor thing is
Going down to
actually
the gym downstairs.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like we got gym downstairs now and all
there's
this
a
stuff
pool,
and
there's
whatever.
a swimming pool in the
You
basement.
got swimming pool and all that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then
Yeah, it's
Right?
about again. It's about time we get
Inspire
something.
Of course,
them.
man.
Yeah.
Of course.
You know,
But anyway,
inspire them.
yeah. So again, in light, we you know, with stuff that we're helping with the nation, we got books, we got DVDs, we got apparel. If you have stuff that you do, because we should be industrious on our own.
Right.
If you make like soaps, deodorants, whatever, donate it to us. We'll get that out for you. Get your name out there as well too.
Yeah.
That helps you out. We gotta get this done, more. It's like I'm telling you, like myself, I've the fire. I'm still going through it, and trust me when I tell you, every time I'm going through that fire, they're giving me a jacket to go through it with. It's like they're saying, like, yeah, we know you're this, but you know, it's like you gotta walk through it.
And then remember also
Gotta
too,
walk
you know what I
through
mean? The whole metaphysical idea, or
Yeah.
not moving from the metaphysical idea, that going through the fire is cleansing.
Maybe we should open our own jail, please.
You know, going through the fire is not, you know what I mean? You're getting something. You know, going through the fire is, once you get out the other end, you're supposed to be a new being when you get out
Well,
the other end.
you can't create a steel band without putting it through fire.
See,
Right?
we're done, man.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll close out on that. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, and just that you brought up the steel band, just for all the quote unquote Rastas and all these people who hold Haile Selassie as, you know, all and be all or whatever. When he went to Trinidad, when he visited Trinidad, he was telling the people that obviously these people, speaking about the Trinidad and Tobagonians, obviously they have a connection to their ancestral culture. Because the steel band's a drum. And we know that where the drum comes from. And for them to take this ancestral knowledge and recalibrate it into this beautiful, because you know they had the steel band all, you know what I mean? The whole crew was, you know, tantalizing him with the music of the steel band. You know what I mean? And the spirit hit him, and he told these people some things. For them to know that it's not about you're Ethiopian and all that stuff. It's not about, oh, well, because we see him as whatever, then we're part of his whatever. You have your own empire that you're part of. Forget Ethiopian empire, way over there. You already have your own culture here, grounded in that culture. That's so-called African, Egyptian, whatever culture. It's also over here. Temple of the Moon and Sun is over here, just like it's over there.
It's the best example of recycling too.
Yeah.
Best example of recycling. So one man's garbage, another man's gold.
Straight up. So we'll close out Islam to everybody for coming through or being here. We'll close out with the prayer, and don't forget next week, 1 p.m. we'll be here again. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Noble Drew Ali. Islam.
Oh, and by the way, sorry. On Friday, I'll be here at 7:30. I wasn't here this past week, and I apologize for that, but I'll be here on Friday, 7:30. Coming up.
Okay. And another thing too, just to bring up quickly when because I was watching little brother, watching everybody say the prayer.
a while, yeah.
Right? And he was looking like,
because we're all facing that way. So he's looking too. Yeah.
And we were, when we were dealing with yesterday, not only were the people who weren't you know, quote unquote black or whatever, embracing, but all the children, all the children looking in the stroller, looking, no matter what age it was.
Yeah.
Getting held in the hand, looking. Like what? Who are these people?
Yeah.
What is this going on?
Yeah.
What? You know what I mean? No Santa Claus and Sonic the Hedgehog and all that stuff. They
That's all good. That's all good.
Yeah.
Real. That's all good.
Islam.
Check. Good morning. Yeah. Everybody's surprised. Ninja man, in the midst of the conference center, giving a motivation speech. Everyone wonder, what the hell is Mr. Man to do? But I would like to ask you people, who is the most perfect person to give the officer of Jamaica a personal motivation speech? Isn't this the man that have experience of what it is to binge through officers in and out, or ups and down, round and round? Well, let me tell you something. First, I want every living officers inside this room give themselves a round of applause. And I'm about to change your name hard. Every name gonna change, you know why? I'm gonna give you a name like this. The slave of the country. And the reason why you people are the slave of the country cannot pay you for the work that you have been doing. If there's storm, the police is out there. If it's shooting, the police is out there. If it's fire, the fireman is out there. And when it gets well out of control, the soldiers are out there. And we cannot forget the nurses and the doctors, because we should include them in the officers' thing too, because whenever time the country gets in any problem, the doctors and the nurses are working as hard as the police and the soldiers. Well, I'm not here today only to give a motivation speech. I'm here to offer the government assistance. In helping to make Jamaica a better place to live. Now, sometimes people might look upon it and say, it's the police's responsibility to cut down crime. No. It's our responsibility. It's not the Prime Minister's responsibility to let the country become a better place. The Prime Minister's responsibility is to run the country. It's our responsibility to move our country forward with whatsoever the government are doing to make it better. No, we're not calling upon the police them now because they're already doing their work. We're not calling upon the fireman, the soldierman, the nurses, the doctors, nor the people them that the country are doing their work. We're calling upon the Jamaican people them now. If we take a stand and look at the country, the 24th of this month, I am 51 years of age. I know Jamaica from you could have count how much car into a community. Now, you cannot count how much car there on the road because you are mad. We know Jamaica from Jamaica, you could have count the hotel them, Pegasus and Windham. Now even Port Hendricks and Back Road becomes a hotel strip. That means the country is growing. Now look, we don't have one telephone company. Now we have cable, we have satellite, we have more than one phone company. I'm going to tell you something. Them all put phone company down at town. When nobody never believes that the phone company could have go down at town because town is so violent, so dangerous. But yet still, they make it them point at duty and say, if they're gonna kill us, we're gonna position ourselves down here, the head of the digital eye. Now let's work to let this country be the country that it's supposed to be, and not the country that it's about to head to. Because sometime, and I'm going to talk to you, Mr. Hindi come too. Because the thing is that sometimes when you pressure the police, them and they can't do their work in peace. And me as a man, I'm coming from a bad man point of view, where I can tell you, no bad man no there in Jamaica again. You have a set of criminals and murderers that you're dealing with. Some people who just take up gun and turn it on anyone and does not care. And if the police catch one of them and deal with him, you know, when they come charge them for it, so oh no catch him and we destroy the people them and charge him. Check on yourself. We need to step up and moving forward to help the police force or to help the officers of Jamaica to be proud of themselves and proud of the work they are doing. Too much time they've been laid back, treated like they are nothing, treated like scam and lose them work and get kicked out and get charged and get brutalized and get this. And then when anything, you still send them out there to go do the work. Now me know say something when me I go say you know I go like it. It's a man you would have vexed, but I'm just a person that speaks the truth, and the truth is the truth, and if you don't want to hear the truth, no call me. You don't like how me talk, no? If you don't love how me talk, clap on yourself. No, I can give you no joke. This is a tough world. A very, very tough world. And we need Jamaica to realize that they are a very important asset to the world. And we need to step up and help our government, help the police force. And Mr. Montague, you are now the Minister of Security. You cannot be like the one that we passed. As me tell you already, you know, we cannot afford to pay the police. If we give the constable them $1 million a day, give superintendent $10 million a day, give inspector $5 million a day, and sergeant and corporal get 2 and 2.5. Oh no, still not pay them. Oh no, don't pay them. Because this is a force that is out there for the country. Standing up for the country. And I'm going to tell you how important officers are. I could talk about the police and the soldiers them. You have enough time. If I'm not police and soldier, bad man dead like dog. Because they go pick trouble with people, have more gun than them. And when the gun turn out, yeah, man. When the gun them turn on and start blaze for them where? Who is coming? And if the police come and the gang take on the police and the police can't manage them, we say back up, you know, if you don't think a third world cup of soldier come. So, the people will play the vital role. We need to pay them more attention. All right, let's get to some points now. And cutting down crime. Mr. Montague, Minister of Security, Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, you can't cut down crime on the level and do it. Jamaica people are very independent. Them ambitious and them industrious. You need to put in some infrastructures now. Put in some things that police been treated like police. You better not give them no pay, but anywhere they go, they can collect what they want and go on. How me sound? How me sound? I would rather not get no pay. And if I go in the supermarket and I show them my card, I collect my food and I come out. And if I want a Benz and I go in a Silver Star, I just come out with a Benz. Now, we need to set up some things in the country where the police becomes more independent. You don't like me, but me not care. You shouldn't call me, because me out talk. Police in Ninja Man in 2014 E-Class Benz. And when he pull me over, I say, police, what you do? Where? You know, policeman, I have a Benz now, it would look like him rich on me and give me problem. If you not set up something in the country where a policeman does not sign to work for 3 years, the soldier can sign for 3 years. The soldier can sign for 3 years. A police sign for a lifetime. Until in dead in not have work until he resign. So why not set up something where, all right, this is a system. If the policeman want a nice house, go in and get your nice house. If the policeman want a nice car, go in and get a nice car. Whenever time you take, the more you take, the less pay you get. Then, when you set up things like that in the country, and have a system like that going, when a policeman pull Ninja Man 9 Benz or pull Bounty Killer 9 BMW, and when you say, hey, police, boy, where are they? Say, make I tell you something, brother. Go look at station. Me have a 300 park, a 200 yard drive. Give me your papers. But if me have no Benz, me no live nowhere, and me can't part one man with hype, whatsoever it takes to make the hype go on. Me I go live my life, because me nah get up every day with gun for my hip and I run down thief and nah eat nothing. So me I go tell you the truth. First stage of cleaning up crime is to make your police force be independent. I don't business about no back pay, because back pay not pay. Put in one new thing you know. That them proud for work, happy for work, willing for work, and not even members say they have back pay. And I want to give you a joke. When I get the card from Mr. Montague office, say I need to come do a motivation speech to the police. Them. I said, Jesus Christ, my police then shoot after so much. When me I go down the bus? But guess what? When I go down and I run through the tape and I analyze up and assess up everything, I tell myself, there's no other person. But if you come tell the people them the truth, more Ninja Man. Because some of the people them feel like if them come here and tell the truth, it's going to be a problem. The truth is an offense, but not saying, no, they don't like me, I don't care. Oh. So, I'm not going to really give a long speech, because if I continue, you don't hate me. If I continue, you don't go want to see me again. Because there's a lot of things in my head to say. But here want now. We willing to work with the government, to help, to cut down crime, to make Jamaica a better place to live, and make people can guard them house, go in at them bed, with them door and window open. And we never have Mark Shields here. We never have Les Green here. And we did that cope and a control with crime. We don't need nobody from a foreign if we can tell we how we are going to set our country. We need to put on our foot, give back the police them their rights, give back the teacher them their rights, give back the parents them their rights, because the government take away all of the rights from the people and if we keep the country disciplined. Who don't say me bad? Me bad? Me never bother my mother. She'd have killed me with lick. So one thing me know. Whenever time anything go on when me say, it no justify and it no right. It hurt me just like how it hurt the judge. Because I never go in a badness through me want go in there. We step in a badness because of the crisis at the time. And we see what it was like. We have it there so. But when we reach a stage now where badness not needed, we are encourage everyone to leave it alone. You understand me? Because me have a new song we come out to say, it dark, it dark, it dark. Yeah? I never plan to give you no lyrics, but me just saw a cappella that one here. And it dedicated to some little boy when me say I take up gun nowadays. Because if you don't see, how Ninja Man spend 3 years and still about to get back in passport to go foreign. I want to see Vibes Cartel just at the peak of his career. For him reach to be one of Jamaica's richest and powerful superstar, him get life imprisonment. Well, the government has show all I know what they say. If you don't feel like say fame and fortune can't stop you from going to prison. Anyone get. Me can't leave you now. One song. All right. That song here. It say, them in nobody say no know about it. No going on nothing if you know you're doing fit. Give away your life because you're not sure about it. It dark, it dark, it dark. Them in nobody say no know about it. No going on nothing if you know you're doing fit. Give away your life because you're not sure about it. It dark, it dark, it dark. Dopey butterfly like a butterfly. Nuzzling in a face and marrow in the sky. Black on the ground like a piece of fly. The war dark in a boy, dark. You know no defense then, no offend them. Troublemaker look for trouble offend them. Them your policeman and somewhere to send them. Somewhere dark in a boy. Son of yeah, hear me? People, me love you know. And right now, me start a thing in Kingston 19 Division, Mr. Samuda era, where you have Park Lane, 100 Lane, Jackson Town, Aki Walk, Common Sense. The whole them people dead in some work. I when me just go there, about 4 men dead in a 2 months. And me take it up on myself, and me
This is the anthem of all anthem. King Yellowman featuring the champion them. Champion, we are a champion. Champion, we are a champion.
Champion, man a ring champion, yes.
Champion, we are a champion. The world know me as King Yellowman. The girls love up me complexion.
Boom, what this, what that, a burro bantan. Hey, hey, that a my slogan. Read it up!
Ready for the then go and say that the king of things that are the ring yellow man.
Yo! I got the good, I got the ball. Come on, man, this is the bam, bam, bam.
Champion, come on, a real champion.
Champion, I'm on a real champion. Champion, me a real champion. Anyway, among the greatest of all time we belong. We get pioneer, dancehall veteran. Man to kill a Godzilla, 5-star general. I defend the people from 1900. When we have the world, I turn it up and a real champion. Some say Shango, some say Prophet, champion, Capetan. We say everybody know me a the real fireman. Music is a mission, not a competition. Tell them, see the Kalonji for the black redemption. The music take them out of separation. Got to a mind when you got to a plan. And keep the fire blazing while you want Babylon.
Wrong not to stinking shop. Them can't put up. Ground champion. Little fool I get back down by the rest some champion. Them a get kicked down by the rest some champion. We say turn up, cause we no run champion. 10 times I'm so strong in Paragon champion. Them can win no competition if them test champion. Who them a boost up as one champion, them no better than. Style and me fashion get it from the veteran. Me use dance and music make myself a better man. Them your lyrics and me have no boy don't pressure than. If them around and go on like say them war pressure man. A murderation from the champion.
Champion, tell me a real champion. Champion, tell me a real champion. Champion, champion, champion. Champion, champion, champion. Only female general in the DJ army. Me no chop off a rhythm, make me sit down steady. That's why respect it off it Joe plenty. Original lady G, this a no carbon copy. Bang slang, Shari young champion. Before you ask, let me answer for your question. Would you say?
Talk like a champion, talk like a champion.
We are going like the city till the Bantanland.
Marvin, this is Jigs the King. It's a fight, some them can't stop spin. So much history great and it's not no talking. Can replace a champion with a DJ asking. Champion, I'm on a real champion. Champion, we are true champion. And champion, say man a real champion. Champion, say man a real champion. Bust out of the gang from 1971. Tour out the whole world and Jamaica Island. You hear me on the sound and the radio station. Outlaw chose the way last of the Mohican. Outlaw chose the way last of the Mohican. Outlaw chose the way last of the Mohican. Kick up on the rhythm like a Henny Stallion. From about 84 me make me enchant. Devil send them come telling them back up on God. We are ram dance all from days of state land. Come on a sprinter stay a long distance we run. We not afraid of hurry come up neither just come. When them say the general tree them say champion come. Anywhere we pass through people have fun. Uncle might fit them daddy make sure uncle might fit them. Friend that spell friend. PROPLEM a problem. We build the foundation exclusive legend.